So, hello everyone, and welcome here on YouTube now for this simul stream of the Montreal Canadiens versus the Florida Panthers. We are live both here on YouTube and on ColorCast, and also in a little bit of a different setup. As you can see, I just had a show at CSM right here, so I'm in one of the editing suites, and we'll be joined by a co-host today. We'll be joined by Justin O'Leary. Fellow Habs fan from Kingston and awesome Habs fan on Habs Twitter. I played ball hockey with him back in the day. You could follow him at JAlery31. He'll be joining us soon on the ColorCast app, and he'll be joining us soon here on YouTube. But right now, let's talk about this Montreal Canadiens game right now. So, first things first, the Canadiens are tied with the Arizona Coyotes for the worst record of the least amount of points in the NHL at 44 entering this game. And now all of a sudden this is where games become important in terms of trying to bottom out to get that top draft pick if you're one of those fans that are in favor of tanking like I am. But if you're looking to see some wins, well, this is going to be quite the test to see what this young roster, what this disassembled roster of Canadians can do, because this is, again, as stacked as a Panthers team can be with the Claude Giroux and Ben Sherratt acquisitions. Of course, this is Ben Sherratt's return to the Bell Center, so that's going to be huge, of course. And Claude Giroux, I mean, I think he's playing tonight. If he is, he'll be on the line with I think the top line with Alexander Barkov. But yeah, this is going to be a huge test to see what Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, how they could perform against greater competition. In the 18 games that Caulfield has played under Marty St. Louis, he has 22 points. I believe Suzuki has 19. So how are those studs or young studs, the Canadians' cornerstones for the present and the future, going to perform against the stacked lineup that the Florida Panthers have? We will see. But yeah, so we're about 2 minutes away from puck drop here. So we'll get right to it. And again, Justin O'Leary will be joining us in about 7 more minutes. He's just finishing up at work, and he'll be joining us probably 5 minutes into the first period here on, again, both on ColorCast and on YouTube. And of course, we'll be doing the Habs-Leafs game as well this coming Saturday, which, again, not much to play for the Canadians, but for the Leafs, they're still in the thick of the playoff race, of course. They're trying, I would say for the Leafs, they're trying to avoid a matchup with Tampa or Florida or Boston in the first round, but that will probably end up being inevitable. So Leaf fans will obviously have mixed emotions about that. But yeah, just again, these Panthers right now, honestly, Habs aren't going to make the playoffs, so we're allowed to jump on bandwagons and cheer for other teams. So I will have to admit that the Panthers are that team. Even though they're in the same division as the Canadiens in the Atlantic Division, Florida hasn't won a playoff series since 1996 against the Colorado Avalanche, or the Eastern Conference Final of the year that they got swept by the Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup Final. Was the last time that the Florida Panthers won a playoff series. So if you think the Leafs have had a long playoff drought, the Panthers, they got it a little bit worse than the Toronto Maple Leafs. But the difference is the Toronto Maple Leafs are, well, the Leafs and one of the most historic franchises in the NHL. Whereas the Panthers, they are, well, in Florida and finally putting everything together, so it seems. And just getting the best out of Alexander Barkov, out of Jonathan Huberdeau, and out of Aaron Ekblad, and Sergei Bobrovsky bouncing back after a very inconsistent season last year, of course. So yeah, so I'm excited for the Panthers, kind of the same way I cheered for the Rams in the Super Bowl. The Rams hadn't won that title under Sean McVay and previously Jared Goff, but then they went all in to acquire Matthew Stafford and previously Jalen Ramsey, and then at the deadline, Von Miller. So this Florida Panthers team saw an opportunity to go all in, and they did. So I honestly cheer, like, I want teams that have the guts to really sell out or go all in at a particular trade deadline, I want to see those teams win. I want to see those teams do well, and especially if they're a team that hasn't been like a dynasty or like a perennial winner. I cheer for those teams because that's how I want GMs to build their rosters and to handle things. So we are just about ready to go here on at the Bell Center between the Habs and the Panthers. There's Ben Sherratt taking his warm-up laps there, his first time back at the Bell Center, not in a Canadiens uniform since leaving the Canadiens, of course. He was a member of the Winnipeg Jets before signing with the Canadiens. But we are all set to go here at the Bell Center. Just about ready to drop the puck. We got the Caulfield, Suzuki, Anderson line to start on the Habs side. It looks like it is the second line for the Panthers, and we are underway here. It is the Sam Bennett line getting things going for the Panthers. They win the faceoff, and they will start things up in the Habs zone over here. And we welcome in. Is this our co-host? Let's see. Or no, we got Analytical Mind joining in this Habs-Panthers broadcast. Welcome that begins with an icing by the Canadiens, and we'll have a face-off in the Habs zone. We got some extracurriculars going on after the whistle already between Huberdeau, David Savard in his second game back after returning from an injury, of course. So we'll see if we have anything to come after the whistle here. Looked like Josh Anderson got run into there by Jonathan Huberdeau, and he didn't like that. So that's probably what made him want to respond and do something about it. And they will have Huberdeau going to the box for roughing, so the Habs will get an early shot on the power play over here. Habs obviously with one of the worst power plays in the NHL, but obviously they've been better as of late with Marty St. Louis' guidance and Cole Caulfield finally playing on his off wing, his one-timer side. Let's see what they could do here on the power play to open this game. They win the face-off. Anderson backhands it to the point to Caulfield. Caulfield down to, or rather Weidman to Caulfield to Suzuki. The shot, he scores! Nick Suzuki, 30 seconds in, gives the Montreal Canadiens the lead on the power play. What a way to start. And Suzuki went 5-hole on Sergei Bobrovsky. Let's see if Bobrovsky got a good look at that. Or I think it's actually Spencer Knight rather in net, but yeah. Yeah, Spencer Knight got beat 5-hole with Christian Dvorak doing great work in front of the net to screen him. And a nice shot to just get that through by Nick Suzuki. And again, that's all you have to do sometimes is literally just get the puck on net from the point, avoid the traffic, and get it on net. And that's exactly what Nick Suzuki did. And the Habs have a 1-0 lead, but the Panthers answer right back. Back-to-back goals. That is Alexander Barkov with a quick response. And just like that, we have a 1-1 hockey game seconds after the ensuing face-off of the Suzuki goal. Man, oh man, Barkov, let's see. Yeah, just a quick pass up the ice to Barkov, and ooh, that's kind of one that Jake Allen, Barkov's a great player, and sometimes you just got to hand it to great players making great moves. But from that angle, from that part of the ice, you kind of want Jake Allen to make that save over there. But either way, the Panthers, they tie it right up at 1. Again, the Suzuki goal was 29 seconds in, and that goal was just about, 31 seconds in? But we have a tied game either way. Yeah, just as you can see, I'm wearing headphones under my headphones here. And another shot and a big save there by Jake Allen. That time, robbing Claude Giroux, his first shot of the game. I believe it's his first game as a Panther also, but Jake Allen standing tall to Claude Giroux and making a nice glove save there. That's again, that was a nice shot by Barkov, but again, to the far side as a goaltender from a relatively dead angle, you don't want to surrender that type of goal there. Habs win the ensuing faceoff in their own zone. A nice flip pass to Rem Pitlik, whose brother Tyler is also making his debut for the Canadiens, but a turnover in the zone. And quick up, Panthers attack, and Allen has to make another really nice save there. in front of Eetu Luosterainen. So a lot of action early on in this game. A lot of action, which, again, is what you like to see. That's all you want to see. Especially when you're, for the Canadians at this point in the season where they are trying to just see what they got in their young players. You want the Caulfields, the Suzukis, the Schoonemans, the players that you hope are going to be on the roster going forward. You want them to be the reasons why the Canadians win. And Analytical Mind, who is in the cast here, I want to hear your thoughts on first of all, who's your team in hockey, and who do you got? Well, who are you cheering for in this Habs versus Panthers matchup? Let us know in the comment section of this cast. Right now, the Panthers on another rush. The pass in front gets blocked off by Evans, and the pass leaves the Canadian zone all the way down the ice back to Spencer Knight, and he will just leave it for Mackenzie Weegar. Back the other way, here comes Patrick Hornqvist. Hornqvist with a shot right on goal, easily stopped there by Jake Allen, gloving it out of midair, and some more pushing and shoving happening after the whistle here. There's Tyler Pitlik in his first appearance as a Montreal Canadian. Good luck to Brian Mudryk on TSN and Pierre Houd on RDS and myself trying to not confuse the Pitliks, of course. We'll do our best. But that is Tyler, number 24, getting into it after the whistle. So on the face-off there is Laurent Dauphin. He loses it. Goes to the point there by Robert Hagg. His shot gets blocked. Now here's Hornqvist in the corner. He gets knocked off there by Savard. Panthers keep possession. Kept in at the line there. That is Brendan Montour with a shot that ends up going wide into the corner. Here is Noel Achari battling in the corner with Laurent Dauphin. One heads at the net, and the Habs will get penalized for that. Hornqvist gets tripped up going to the net, and on the touch-up, it looks like it will be Laurent Dauphin getting called for the trip on Noel Achari. So it's a holding call on Laurent Dauphin here, and the Panthers will get their first power play. Again, we had the opening goal by Nick Suzuki on the Habs power play, seconds into the Habs power play, and then seconds later, Alexander Barkov tied it up. So let's see how the Panthers can handle their first power play of the game. The face-off with Claude Giroux in front of what appears to be Christian Dvorak is delayed because the linesman moved a little early, so he'll toss Giroux out of the face-off. And to take it is Sam Reinhart, and it is Dvorak winning the face-off, and the Habs managed to clear the zone right off of the bat. So there's Barkov. Start things going the other way. Giroux, the left wing there. And now to the point. Here is Duclair with a shot. The Montreal native, his shot gets blocked and taken out there by... Who is that? Is that Armia, of course. Yoel Armia. Doing a good job on the forecheck. Armia. Saw number 4, but again, right-handed shot didn't... quite realize that was Armia right away there. But anyway, we welcome in also Yuzri Vanka to the cast as the Panthers continue this power play. Barkov will just leave it back to his defenseman. There's Duclair. Duclair to Reinhart. The pass in front and a nice save by Allen off of Anthony Duclair. Panthers continue the setup. Here's Barkov at the point. The left wing to Huberdeau to Barkov. Barkov's shot stopped by Allen. Rebound is cleared out of the zone. Habs will manage to get some more seconds shaved off of this penalty. Certainly sorry for the delay there, Analytical Mind. No worries. I'll get actually to your comment there in a second, Analytical Mind. Panthers continue the power play. As pass in front to Hornqvist. He fans on it, and Byron will clear it out of the Habs zone back the other way with 30 seconds to go here on the power play for the Panthers. Haven't been able to muster up that much just yet. And again, Analytical Mind, I'll get to your comment here at the whistle. It is banked off the glass and out once again there by the Canadians. That was Weidman. And 15 seconds to go here by the Panthers on the power play. Let's see if they can muster up one more rush as Brandon Montour doesn't like what he sees, peels back to center, drops it back for Huberdeau, and that will pretty much do it for the Panthers on the power play as we are back to 5-on-5 hockey. There's a Schoenemann. Corey Schoenemann loses it behind the net, though. And there is Mason Marchment doing some spins away from Schoenemann, keeps it away from Schoenemann, gets it back. And Mason Marchment, the front of the net shot is wide there. Nice shot there by Gustav Forsling. The puck comes out back to the neutral zone to center. Good forecheck, though, by Dvorak. Dvorak in a battle with three other Panthers, and finally it is taken out by Mackenzie Weegar. He'll just flip it out to the neutral zone, and the Canadians will be on it right away to try to go back the other way. Caulfield intercepts the pass. Caulfield in on a 2-1 with Anderson. Caulfield delays, shoots just wide to the blocker side with his former USA teammate at the World Juniors, Spencer Knight. Caulfield forcing the nice turnover there, and he forces another turnover. There's Suzuki right in the mix to try to get things going in the offensive zone, but he loses it finally to Mackenzie Weegar, who just flips it out to the neutral zone. And it is dumped in there by, I think that's Lindholm. And Anderson gets spinned off the puck. And get into the Canadian zone. Here are the Panthers with Carter Verhaeghe dropping it back to Giroux. Giroux back to Verhaeghe, down low. Verhaeghe watched by Anderson. Big battle in front with Romanov there. Someone lost their stick. It was a Panther, and the Habs are able to get it off out of their zone. Here is Caulfield back through center. Caulfield lost it for the moment and lost it for good. And back the other way come the Panthers, led by Sam Bennett. Bennett being watched by Romanov. Romanov got physical with him in the corner. Bennett is able to pass it to his teammate Huberdeau. And finally out come the Canadians with Jake Evans. Jake Evans will dump it into the Panthers zone. Out to play to Spencer Knight. Down to Brandon Montour. Montour with a long pass ahead there to Duclair. Duclair waits. Duclair with the long stretch pass to the opposing D side. The shot stopped by Allen. He will cover it up for a whistle, and we'll get a face-off with just under 14 to go here in the first. The Habs and Panthers are tied at 1. And yeah, analytical mind, certainly sorry for the delay. No worries. My team is San Jose, and I have to go to Florida because of my dire love for Joe Thornton, of course. Jumbo Joe hanging around after all these years, centering. Not quite. I don't think he's in the lineup tonight, but he is certainly in line for centering that fourth line on the Panthers. Doing a great job, and if you want a commentator, I'd be honored to buy second fiddle your way to your play-by-play regarding this game and perhaps take on other teams. Enjoy either way. Glad to hear you enjoying watching this game. Caulfield making something out of nothing. So many specific details I've noticed in Caulfield's game have significantly improved and leading to his success. We also welcome in Jay O'Leary. So we'll get Jay O'Leary. Jay O'Leary is going to be our co-host today, but analytical mind, we could get you on the hot seat. So let's get Justin O'Leary here to co-host. Let's see, is Justin here also on our YouTube? And then once Justin's in the co-host seat, then I'll get Analytical Mind as on the hot seat. So we'll have a full show here of co-hosts on COLORCAST. And Justin, if once you're on the co-host chair on COLORCAST, let's get you on the co-host spot on YouTube as well. Just enter the StreamYard link that I sent you. But you just have to accept that invite I sent you. Invite as a co-caster. So yeah, Justin, once you're there, just accept the invite for the co-host spot, and we'll get you on. And of course, Analytical Mind will get you in as well. But yeah, just like you said there, Analytical Mind, love the little things that we've been seeing from Caulfield. Just even there, like in transition, forcing that turnover and forcing a little something out of not much and creating a bit of a scoring chance, even though we missed the net from a dead angle. But that's like the sign of a smart hockey player making something out of nothing. So we're going to get a face-off in the Montreal zone here after the save by Allen. Again, Trying to get our co-host on here. The invite. So face-off is won in the again the Canadian zone. The Panthers win the face-off. The puck comes all the way out to center, and they set up in the Habs zone again. Even though it's 1-1, that Panthers largely outpossessing and outshooting the Canadians 8-3 so far in this game. The Habs come out to center though. Here's Pitlik to Evans. Romanov joining the rush, but not much there for him to as the Panthers turn it back the other way. And a long stretch pass misses. Allen out to play it behind his net. Here's David Savard. Drops it off for Pitlik. Pitlik loses it at the blue line. And the Panthers look to set up with a dead angle shot. Allen stopped it, and he will cover the rebound right away as it was loose for a second, but he did a great job to actively cover up that rebound. So, you know what? While we're waiting for Justin to join the hot seat, Analytical Mind, let's get you let's get Analytical Mind on the hot seat while we wait for Justin as the co-host. I'll get you on for the first 5 minutes, and we'll extend your time as you wish there, Analytical Mind. And you could do our color commentary here. We won't be able to hear you on our YouTube, on Langer at the Mic YouTube, but we'll hear you on ColorCast for sure. So Habs control off of the face-off. Welcome in, Analytical Mind. How's it going? Well, we could get our audience to respond in the chat here as well, but I'm doing great as we got a lot of action to start off this game right away with the back-to-back goals within seconds of each other. So you said you're a big fan from San Jose Sharks fan, and watching this game for Jumbo Joe Thornton, even though he's not in the lineup, but does that mean you'll be on the Panthers bandwagon come playoff time? I do agree, and that's the biggest thing is I don't think put it this way, if all goes well, I'd like to think the Panthers would not want Joe Thornton in the lineup because he doesn't quite have he never was really a great skater, and especially with how the game has picked up in terms of speed and with how fast the playoffs are. I know he had a couple of points in that series against Montreal last year, but he was also kind of the reason why the Leafs weren't able to finish that series. But like you said, though, his presence off the ice, what he brings to the locker room is definitely valuable, especially in a playoff series with still a relatively inexperienced Panthers team when it comes to playoff success. I agree. As Giroux on the Panthers power play here can't get that shot through to Armia. His clearing attempt to stop by Barkov. Panthers regroup on the power play. Barkov the point. His shot makes it through, but stopped by Allen. Rebound comes all the way back out to Barkov, back to Giroux. As 50 seconds are left here. Yeah, Schooneman's in the box serving a 2-minute minor penalty. As here's Giroux with a shot that gets blocked. And I want to ask you here, Analytical Mind, just once if the Habs are able to clear or if the Panthers scores, Giroux, I'll get to you in a second. Cross-ice pass is intercepted and cleared out finally by Joel Edmondson. So Analytical Mind, what do you think of the Panthers trade deadline and going all in and teams in general that go all in at the deadline to try to win as the Columbus Blue Jackets did a couple of years ago? What do you think of that mindset of just selling out? And also the Panthers, they're looking for their first playoff series win since 1996. So up here, you said you're from, again, are you from San Jose? Like you live in the Bay Area? Wow. Well, yeah, San Jose had their time in the sun back, like you said, with the Thornton, Marlowe days, and also back in the day, Mark Edouard Vlasic, who actually played in the same region as I grew up in. I played in the same minor hockey organization as Vlasic, but yeah, small world. But yeah, the Sharks are one of those teams that look, it's going to be a couple of years for them to go through this rebuild and be good again. But yeah, look, analytical mind, thank you for joining the hot seat. We'll get you back on the intermission, but just look, you got 30 seconds. Give us your final thoughts, your final opinions before we come back from this commercial break. Well, thanks again, Analytical Mind. We'll certainly get you back on the hot seat. We have our co-host here joining us on YouTube. We're trying to get him in still on the ColorCast app, but let's get Mr. Justin O'Leary, J. O'Leary 31 in on YouTube here. How is it going, sir?
Oh, it's going good, man. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I'm very finally do something Habs related with you. It's been I know you you started that goalie podcast with Heft, so we got two goalies back here as well, and we'll definitely provide a lot of goaltending commentary in our play-by-play and color commentary. But yeah, Justin, are you able to get on the ColorCast app?
I think so. Yeah, it looks like I'm there now.
Because there you are. Yeah, so we're right there on both ColorCasts and on YouTube. Awesome. So again, we'll also have to make sure our broadcasts are in sync here. I'm at 9:30 with a stop there by Jake Allen. We do have an echo happening right now.
Sorry, my bad. Hold on, one sec.
Yeah, we'll clean that up. That's all good. Yeah, just make sure something has to be muted there. That's all.
There we go.
Perfect.
It was just my headphones.
Yeah, just make sure the sound is coming not from. You have to hear it from your headphones, not from the computer, of course.
Yeah. 1 second here.
Their wraparound attempt. Oh, Allen had to be ready for that, and now the Habs will lead the zone exit with Dauphin passing it ahead to Pizzetta out of his reach. Spencer Knight out to play it.
Oh, give me 1 second there. I just have to readjust something here with my headset. So I'll just be a sec.
What you got to do. Panthers will steer things back the other way, out to center. That's Hornqvist dumping it in on Jake Allen, who leaves it for Corey Schooneman behind the net. Chris Weidman gets it up ahead to Dauphin, chipped in the zone there by Armia, or Tyler Pitlik, rather, number 24. All set there, Justin? Oh, there's a quick shot on net, stopped by Spencer Knight. And Habs are back to retrieve it in their own zone. That is Romanov. Leaving it for Hoffman. Hoffman, a long stretch pass, can't be handled by Rem Pitlik. Turned back the other way by Florida. Romanov on it. I think he froze there for a second, Justin, at least on YouTube. As here is, again, Jake Evans behind the Habs net. Kind of lost Justin on YouTube, but it's all good. So turned back the other way by Florida here. There's Giroux, leaving it for Barkov. And there's Giroux behind the net again. And we have a whistle as the puck, I think, goes out of play. Got some pushing and shoving once again going on between Giroux and David Savard. We'll have a whistle to the left of Jake Allen.
Looks like you're a little bit ahead of me in the broadcast.
No problem. I could pause it. Just trying to figure out where this echo's coming from.
Give me 1 sec. I'm going to try changing headsets.
That
could be just what it is. Give me 1 sec.
Worst case, I can.
I was trying to go through my tablet, but for a reason, Twitter kept crashing on me. I couldn't even access the invite to StreamYard. It just kept closing on me. So I'll just try again here.
That's all good. I mean, you're on YouTube right now. We got it. It's just now everything's good. It's just we have to clean up this echo, whatever it is.
Yeah. All right. Give me 1 sec here. I'll see if I can. 1 sec here. I'm going to see if I can try some different earbuds here. I'm using wireless, so I don't know if I'm just getting an echo based off that. I do have some.
That's okay.
Whoop. Whoop.
It's all good. We'll get this all set up by the second period, so don't worry, guys. But thank you for staying tuned in here. So we'll have a face-off in the Habs zone.
There we go. How's that?
That sounds good. You're still echoing a little bit, but it's a lot better than before. Yeah, we got you. There, no echo. Perfect. Excellent.
Right now it's at 7:08 right now on my screen right now. And they're just basically it's
Oh, and there's a nice save by Allen in front. So, and a rebound is cleared by the Habs, intercepted there by Huberdeau in front, taken back by Petrie, who will send it ahead to Suzuki, and Suzuki will finally turn it over at center. But luckily, Petrie is on that real quick. And oh, there's a penalty likely coming up for the Habs as that looks like Sam Reinhart got tripped in the neutral zone. What's your kids' names there, Justin?
Abigail and Logan. Abigail actually has a birthday that she shares with Patrick Waugh and Mario Lemieux, so that's kind of cool.
Awesome. Excellent.
Come
yeah,
say hi.
They could join the unofficial hot seat. Hello. They're Habs fans, I hope, right? Go Habs, go, right, Abigail?
Well, Abigail, who's your favorite player?
Carey Price and Galley.
Good choices there, Abigail.
Yeah.
We're taking this COLORCAST party to a whole new level here, guys. Love it. The Panthers, by the way, this is the Panthers' third power play of the game. As the puck makes it to the net, but no one able to get a stick on it right there. And the Habs are able to clear it there. So honestly, though, Justin, so my question to you is, how do you think the special teams, both power play or in this case penalty killing, how do you think they've changed under Marty St. Louis?
I feel like they have a little more freedom out there. Like in terms of, you look at the way they move the puck along the ice, they're not playing within that like invisible line system that we come to get to know under Dominic Ducharme. I just feel St. Louis gives them that freedom out there to make the right reads, whereas before they just weren't shooting the puck enough. I felt that they were maybe trying to force the play too much. Same thing, the penalty kill seems to be doing a lot better too. So I feel like there's definitely a lot better potential when it comes to the special teams, like compared to what they were at before. There's just a lot more comfort. You can tell, like you just see that there's just a lot more confidence in that group.
Yeah, Panthers win the face-off, but the Habs do turn them back the other way yet again, and they'll shave off some more precious seconds off of this Florida power play. But with speed comes Claude Giroux, turned back right away, though, and here comes Evans on the shorthanded rush. So Evans in the corner there. We'll get to the comments in a second at the whistle here now that we figured out all the technical stuff. But yeah, just honestly, again, Justin, happy to have you on the stream here finally.
man.
And, just are you on the Florida bandwagon? Just like an analytical mind here in our cast who's from San Jose, cheering for Joe Thornton.
No, honestly, I mean, I'm going to be cheering for sure. Obviously, for the playoffs, I think I'll be following a few teams come playoff time, just due to some of the the players we've learned to love and appreciate with their time in Montreal, like Toffoli in Calgary, Lehkonen in Colorado, Sherrod in Florida. I think I'll be following all those teams closely just to see how those guys do. It'll be nice to see how Florida does. Depending on who they're going to play in the first round. I'm not too sure what the standings are really looking like right now. I think if they were to start, I think they'd be facing off, against the Leafs, if memory serves me right. So that'd be an interesting matchup. A juggernaut like Florida going up against like a offensive powerhouse in Toronto. But I mean, we're just talking, hype right now, but anything can happen between now and the end of the season.
Well, as it turns out right now, actually, Toronto would face off against Tampa. Florida would match up against, I think, looks like Washington. Yeah, Washington, because they have the game in hand on Carolina for the top spot in the Eastern Conference. So they would be in first. Let's get to some of the comments here. So talent discrepancy is obvious. Florida able to enter the zone with possession seamlessly. Montreal needs to do a better job of taking away time and space and not back themselves into their own zone, respecting the Panthers' speed a little too much. But what they are doing, I would say, analytical mind, is that they are, and Justin, you could allude to this as well, is that the Habs are doing a good job keeping shots at least to the outside, and anything that's been dangerous around the net, no Panther, at least yet, has been able to get a stick on it. So I think from that standpoint, maybe it's a little bit of luck, puck luck as well, favoring the Canadians early on as they're being heavily outshot, but at least the score is still tied. But I think, I definitely agree with you on the talent discrepancy. Hey, Langer, any idea which player you share a birthday with? I don't know hockey players, but I know that I share a birthday with Cam Newton. So I don't know. I don't feel too strongly about that. Agreed. Have so many great things to say about Marty St. Louis and this team. Yes, keeping the sweet spots clean, very well defended. Exactly. And yeah, Justin, we could also allude to the I don't know if you saw the goal that Jake Allen gave up early on, but
no, I didn't.
That was a kind of one that you'd want a goaltender to stop. It was Barkov down the left wing to the far side post. It was a nice shot. Like, don't get me wrong, goal scorers deserve credit for the goals that they score, of course. But
as a goalie, you got to have that.
Yeah, from a dead angle in a one-on-one situation, like that's one where Jake Allen, you just gotta. I think he was in good position, just needs to be expecting that shot a little bit better.
Yep. Yeah. Now going back to the birthday thing, I share a birthday with Andrei Markov. Believe it or not.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
that's a good birthday to share with, for sure.
That's a good birthday.
Yeah, Markov, a very underrated player. And what is that? So it's December 20.
Yep, you got it.
Awesome. I looked up your birthday, by the way, not Markov. Not may or may not have.
Yeah.
But the Habs are right now looking to maybe get some offense going in the Panthers zone. Again, not much has been there for them except for the lone Suzuki power play goal. And as you see there, of course, Corey Schoeneman in that goal against Dallas a week ago. So we have a breakaway here for Evans. Evans, a lone shoot, stopped by Spencer Knight. Nice glove save there by Spencer Knight. He read Jake Evans all the way. And also on ColorCast here, we're over 1,000 likes. So thank you again, of course, guys, for your wonderful support on ColorCast as usual. And, of course, just keep letting us know what your thoughts on the game are, the Habs, the Panthers. Keep feeding them in the comment section, both on YouTube and on ColorCast.
I just saw the breakaway just now.
Oh, so you know what? Here, again, I'll pause it. I think we're going to have a breakaway coming up for the Panthers. Let me know when you see, I think it's Bennett on a breakaway. I'll play it right around now. Let's see. It's actually a quick shot and a stop there by Jake Allen, as it was actually a Mason Marchment all alone. Let me know when you're there, Justin.
Yeah. Here comes the breakaway for is it Bennett?
It was Marchment.
Oh,
so
Marchment.
308.
Yeah.
308.
Oh, I'm at 315 right now.
14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Play.
You're good.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There we go.
Right. Now we're on sync. All right. So now Josh Anderson, just I'll flip it across to David Savard, who, again, in his first game back,
He had a nice goal.
Yeah, that was a goal scorer's goal for a defensive defenseman last game.
He did the little beaver tail tap, and then he just kind of cruised in and just pulled in that nice little backhand top shelf. It was just I was very surprised. Wasn't expecting a goal out of him like that. That was just shocking.
So analytical mind there, by the way, if now we're behind you, which is the likely case, you can use the sync feature on the app, which allows you to actually pause our feed or basically sync up the feed on ColorCast with the live feed on YouTube. As we have wide open in front, and I can't believe Yoel Armia just missed a wide open net. He was left all alone in front, but just airmailed it.
I think he got a little bit surprised there. I didn't think he was expecting the puck to come in that quickly right there.
Yeah, Yoel Armia is wide open on the doorstep, but again, just could not figure out a way to bury that one. Welcome in Kryptonite as well to the cast. A quick shot there is just wide by Carter Verhaeghe. As the Habs are able to break out of their zone with speed with Pizzetta out to center, but he loses it in the skates of a Panther defenseman. And that is Verhaeghe looking to get things going the other way, but Dauphin jumps in to force a turnover the other way. And Uyghur loses it to Dauphin. Quick shot in front there by Tyler Pitlik, but it goes wide of Spencer Knight.
I really like what Dauphin's been kind of given this entire season. Like he's put in a lot of hard work, and he's been getting rewarded with his opportunities.
And a quick shot backhand there by it looks like Barkov, and it is stopped right away by Jake Allen. He was ready for that.
Now, I got a comment here on Jake Allen's mask. Now, I'm not sure if you were familiar with the mask of Andre Red Light Rasico, but his mask reminds me a lot of Red Light Rasico's mask from the 90s.
Analytical mind now in sync. But yeah, Andre Rasico, I don't think that's Red Light Rasico, I should say. I don't know if that's a great mask that you want to have similarities with, because or at least you don't want the same nickname. Maybe the same mask, but not the same nickname. But Jake Allen has definitely held his own as a backup to Carey Price, basically a starter now. So I don't think he is worthy, or I think he's better than having the nickname Red Light.
Jake the Snake suits him nicely.
Yeah, a little bit better. The way he robs shooters or makes saves like he made a beautiful glove save last game. I think it was on was it Claude Giroux? No, Claude Giroux. What am I saying? Was it on Marchand or I forgot who it was?
Might have been Marchand.
It was a beautiful glove save that he made. But either way, just now that they didn't trade, do you think they trade Jake Allen in the offseason?
That's going to be depending on how Montembeault finishes the season. I feel, they traded Hammond, which, I thought was fair because Hammond, I guess, give him a chance to pursue his career, because you need to face it. It might be a sign that Carey might be on his way back and Hammond will be your number 4 guy. I think it really depends on what they do with Montembeault and how Montembeault plays, because we've seen flashes of Montembeault where he has been brilliant in games and in some games not so much. So I guess it really depends on how he does. And also it depends too on what offers are on the table too, and what they could possibly get for him.
I agree. As there are 20 seconds left, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the intermission. As here from the point is Sherratt, one of his first, or I haven't seen much of Sherratt in this period, but he is there at his defense spot at the blue line. 7 seconds to go. Uyghur will throw it to the net. Doesn't quite get through on the backhand. Hornqvist. But a nice glove save there by Jake Allen. And that will do it for the first period. 1-1 after 20 minutes between the Habs and the Panthers. And you've been watching this Habs-Panthers coverage here, both on ColorCast and on YouTube. Once again, Jay Alary, 31, Justin Alary. I'm Mike Langer. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay with us for the remaining 40 minutes of this regulation and more. But just so nice to finally have Justin join us on one of these casts, both on Langer at the Mic on YouTube and on ColorCast. So let's continue this conversation with what the Habs are going to do in net. I was honestly surprised that they did not trade Jake Allen at the deadline, because I feel like that is at about $4 million of cap hit, and with the numbers that he's put up, like I feel like he would have been a perfect option for a team at the deadline to acquire for maybe not a terrible amount with another year left on his contract as well.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that too. We heard some rumors of Edmonton being interested in Jake Allen because
Like,
we
he would have been
know
perfect for Edmonton.
about yeah. Mike Smith or Mikko Koskinen to a playoff series. I don't know if they have a good chance there. But no, Jake Allen, he's been very solid for the most part. I mean, the games that he was in earlier in the year was under Dominic Ducharme, so he hadn't really benefited yet so much from the St. Louis effect. But I'd like to see what happens this offseason. I'd like to see Carey healthy, obviously. I'm curious to see how he's going to do, if he's going to play some games before the end of the year, and see how he's progressed with his, because I've seen the videos of him in his practice and he looks great. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do there. And then the question remains, like, if we keep Allen, what do we do with Montembeault? I'm pretty sure, like a team like Florida might be likely wanting to get him back because we know that they really, really didn't want him to go off waivers, right? So, but I guess we'll have to see.
But I have a bigger picture question. We'll get back to goaltending talk here in a second. But with 44 points right now, the Canadiens are tied with the Arizona Coyotes for the least amount of points, or the last place position in the NHL standings, which, according to Tankathon, gives them about a 25% chance to win the lottery. So are you cheering? I have it right in front of me, by the way. It is. I had it. Actually, no. I'm in the sim right now. But anyway, either way, yeah. So it's like about a 25% chance of getting the first overall pick. So are you one of those fans, Justin, those Habs fans that wants to cheer for the Canadiens to lose to maximize their odds to potentially draft Shane Wright? Or are you still like, I got to cheer for the Habs to win every single game, no matter what?
You know what? I'm not for losing, but you know what? At the same time, too, if we're winning games and Arizona's winning games, who cares? That's the kind of how it's been lately, really. I know I saw Arizona go on that streak. We lost a couple games in overtime. I'm never cheering for them to lose, but after, like, I just want to see progression in the game. I want to see it be an entertaining game. I want to see kind of like what we've been seeing with St. Louis, right? We've lost games, but there's games where we've completely played spectacular, just couldn't get the result. So no, I would never vote for them to lose. Yeah, sure, I would love to have a guy like Shane Wright on our team, but you never want to really root for your team to lose. It's funny though, because where I work for TELUS. I'll occasionally see Shane Wright walking around in the mall and here in
one of the
Kingston.
Kingston Frontenacs,
Yeah,
like right next door from where
yeah.
they play.
And it's crazy too. Is
You ever confuse it for Jonathan Drouin, by the way?
Actually, it's funny you say that. A friend of mine, his name's Al. He does the play-by-play for the Kingston Frontenacs, and he's made that same comparison that they're like doppelgangers. And
Scary.
another Kingston Frontenac actually that's playing in this game tonight is Sam Bennett. I actually got to see Sam Bennett score his first hat trick in the OHL, which was pretty cool. He was pretty dominant when he was here too. He played with Lawson Krause, and that was just a fun duo to watch. But no, I'm pretty excited to see what the future holds for this team. Like, if we don't get first overall, whatever. It's a very good, solid draft year. So I think no matter who we draft, I think it's going to be a solid pick.
And yeah, that's why I'm also trying to talk myself into Logan Cooley. I was thinking, well, first of all, so to back up, I honestly, I'm okay with cheering for the Canadiens to lose with a purpose, because when they've been as bad as they've been earlier this season, like historically bad earlier this season, the least you want to get from that is a player that is going to be that's possibly going to change their franchise, the future of their franchise. Because you look at what they did the last time they had the the third overall picks. What they had was Kotkaniemi and Alex Galchenyuk. Yep. Okay, maybe Nail Yakupov, or I think it was Ryan Murray in that 2012 draft wouldn't have really made that much of a difference. But had they had the chance to take Svechnikov in that 2018 draft, or was it I'm
Brady
confusing my
Tkachuk
drafts for a
too.
second.
Brady Tkachuk was in that draft with Kotkaniemi, and there was Philip Zadina too that was in that draft year too.
I'm not caring so much about them, but I'm saying it was Rasmus Sandin. Okay, I thought Rasmus Sandin was 2019 for a second, but yeah. So I'm just saying that there's quite a difference between the third overall pick and the first overall pick in several drafts. And that's why I'm saying if Carolina, who was at the 9th spot of that season, jumping to the 2nd spot, if Montreal had a chance to draft Svechnikov, then he would have been a real difference maker to this lineup. I mean, maybe they wouldn't have taken Caulfield the year after. Who knows? But either way, I'm just saying I want what's best for the Canadians or the teams that I cheer for like in the big picture, whether it's short term or long term. And ultimately, I want them to not only, I guess, not lose, but also just get that first overall pick. But also, if Suzuki and Caulfield and even Schuneman and Romanov and all their young players who are supposed to be here for a long time are the reasons why they do win these games, then I'm all for it. I'm totally all
absolutely.
For it. But I do really want either Shane Wright, but again, I'm trying to talk myself into Logan Cooley, who is right now the consensus number 2. And my question to you, though, Justin, and our comments and our audience here on YouTube and on ColorCast is, are you okay with having your top 2 centers be under 6 feet?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, realistically, the NHL now, you're noticing like you're starting to notice some very dominant forwards now in the NHL who are under 6 feet. What's his face in Chicago?
DeBrincat.
DeBrincat, yeah, he's
Alex
the same
DeBrincat.
height. Yeah, he's the same height as Caulfield, and center forward, whatever position. It's in a funny way, like having a small forward like that could be advantageous for a face-off, right? Because you can get lower to the ice, and it can give you better, I guess, leverage in that face-off dot against the guys maybe a little bit taller, right? So you see those guys who try and get as low as possible. Can help with the possession game and breakouts and. But I'm fine with that. I mean, realistically, historically speaking, the Habs have had small forwards in the past, but that was during the time when forwards were meant to be bigger. But in this particular time, I don't think that's anything bad at all, really.
I agree. As we welcome in DJ Dog Tags. For a moment, like when I first thought of it, I was like, it's not maybe ideal, but then at the same time, what if you can, like, Team Canada in 2002, I'm pretty sure had Steve Yzerman and Joe Sakic as their 1-2, or could have had Joe Sakic and Steve Yzerman as their 1-2. They also had Mario Lemieux on that team.
Lemieux, yeah.
If you have Yzerman and Sakic as your top 2 centers, they're both under 6 feet tall, then you're happy with that. So
yeah, absolutely.
So like at first, again, like it would be nice to think of, you think of Austin Matthews, you think of Connor McDavid, you think of Nathan McKinnon, all guys who are Mario Lemieux, of course. You think they're all bigger bodied centers down the middle, and ideally you want that in the playoffs. But then you could also have, like I said, Yzerman, Sakic, or in the case of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Braden Point, who's also under 6 feet, but an absolute stud. And it was at one point almost a goal per game player with the Lightning in the playoffs last year. So I totally agree. And as long as Logan Cooley, if the Habs don't manage to get Shane Wright and they have to settle for a number 2 or number 3 spot, then absolutely Logan Cooley would also be a big difference maker. And he wouldn't have to be the number 1 guy just yet because Suzuki's there. Yep. Suzuki is shown as a young player. He can handle that number 1 center role, and he's only going to get better.
Yeah, and Suzuki's he's just fun to watch. Like, he's just a wizard with that puck in terms of he's smart with making the right decisions. He's shooting the puck more too, especially under St. Louis. I'm noticing he's shooting the puck more, especially in his little spot there, right around the face-off circle, where he just has that really deceptive release. He's just been fun to watch. I've seen the rise of his game, Caulfield's game. I'm really curious to see what happens with Jonathan Drouin's game too, under the new under St. Louis too. He's another player too. I'm kind of curious to see what happens in the offseason, whether they keep him or trade him. I'm really curious to see what happens there.
We actually have Kent Hughes being interviewed by the. Sorry, Justin. We actually have Kent Hughes. we actually have Kent Hughes being interviewed right now by Pierre LeBrun and Glenn Schiller on the TSN intermission. So I kind of want to I'll pump the volume up on that a little bit. Talking about
I'm just gonna be right back. I'm gonna be putting just the kids
or Jeff Petrie. I think showing Jeff Petrie highlights here. But yeah, Jonathan Drouin. What are your thoughts on honestly? Yeah, just straight up. What are your thoughts on Jonathan Drouin?
He's had some ups and downs. I think last season, it was hard for him last season.
Justin, I think. Yeah, no problem.
There you go. I think last season.
It's a perfect time to crank up the volume on the Kent Hughes interview here. Or you know what? In the meantime, I realized that Analytical Mind. I know you requested the hot seat, so let's get you right on the hot seat.
Yeah.
For the rest.
Actually,
of this
I just gotta put the kids to bed here. I'm gonna be right back.
I don't want to go to bed.
Yeah, sorry, Justin. We'll be right back as we welcome back Analytical Mind. Yeah, go for it, Justin. Analytical Mind, welcome back to the hot seat. Of course. And also thank you for your patience in the technical difficulties you had in setting up in the first period there. But yeah, Analytical Mind. So just again, I want to ask about just Edmonton, like just why didn't Edmonton do anything about their goaltending situation again? Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen have been costing them, indeed. I had to throw that line in there. But yeah, go ahead. And imagine now if Caulfield can become strong like Marty St. Louis was off the ice, or maybe still is off the ice with tree trunk quads. But look, Caulfield, from the very he does so many little things right from his first couple of shifts in the NHL last year. He made his debut in Calgary against the Flames, but it just shows how, I guess, inept Dominique Ducharme was, or maybe not inept, but just how stuck in his ways Ducharme was to really limit him and his ability to create offensively as he's done. Because to me, like his issues early on in his first couple of games, to me, I think it was the fact that he wasn't he was realizing the game is faster, so he was telling himself he has to do things faster. His mind and making his mind one step ahead of his body, or his body one step ahead of his mind, and they weren't really in sync. And then with Ducharme not really allowing him those opportunities to play the game the way he is comfortable playing it, which I think a player of that skill level has the right to do. And that's what was making him think even more. And that's where you saw him fanning on passes, fanning on shots, and just not executing the way he'd like to. But now he's playing the way the game the way he is comfortable playing it, because he's not thinking anymore. And that's where you're seeing the success under Marty St. Louis. Yeah, just heading into this offseason, I love what the Habs have. They have so many options available to them. They have so many draft picks. They have also Justin Barron, who they acquired from the Avalanche in the Lehkonen trade, of course, and even Tyler Smilanic could be a guy from Florida, the guy that could replace Arturi Lehkonen, like in the future, like a guy who's like a speedy bottom six. If he has to be very smart, like Lehkonen, but there's great potential there for the Habs to honestly just to not, they don't have to go through a full rebuild. They just need a couple of little tweaks. They have to have a big offseason, don't get me wrong, but the potential is definitely there for them to really take that next step in this rebuild and retool process as soon as next year. And of course, the Western Conference, at least right now, isn't as loaded as the Eastern Conference. So there's definitely opportunity for them to take those, for all those teams to take those next steps as we're just about underway. And also just one more thing before we begin this second period. The puck is dropped. The faceoff is won by the Canadians. The Vegas Golden Knights had to create somehow $13 million of cap space out of $400 million to activate, I think it was Pietrangelo and Martinez. So Vegas could be on the downswing, especially if those other teams get their stuff together. But yeah, 30 seconds analytical mind. Again, we're underway here in the second period. What are your just closing thoughts on this hot seat segment? Well, thank you, Analytical Mind, for joining the hot seat once again, and we'll certainly get you back on at some point in this game, especially when Justin is able to return on the co-host spot. But yeah, like I said, we're 30 seconds into the second period between the Habs and the Panthers. The Habs on the faceoff, but the puck comes way back out to center ice, so they'll have to try to dump the puck back in the Panthers zone. And Wideman can't quite hold the line, so drops it off for Suzuki, re-entering the Panthers zone. Here's Caulfield steering away with a nice pass to Wideman. Wideman, quick shot, well wide of the net, though, to the blocker side of Spencer Knight. And the puck makes its way all the way back out to center for Corey Schooneman, who will go right behind Allens. That makes a fall, though, and a quick shot there, wide, and a rebound. They score! Mason Marchment off of a turnover by Chris Weidman, tripping and falling. Did not go the first time, but Mason Marchment makes no mistake on the wraparound, and the Panthers have a quick 2-1 lead to start this second period. That's just a classic case of blowing a tire in the case of Chris Weidman right there. So I update the ticker. We got Justin O'Leary back, so let's get our co-host right back onto the stream here. You can yeah, just unmute yourself on ColorCast there. Just I was trying to get rid of the echoes there, Justin.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, just it seems like whenever you're away, there's a goal that scores. You're missing all the goals here, Justin.
Oh, that was a little bit of
a setup, and as soon as the setup, we'll get we'll continue here. As again, it's 2-1 Florida. And another chance here is for Hagee. Nice shot and a nice save there by Jake Allen. Rebound is being fought for by Giroux. His shot is stopped there by Allen as well. And another shot by Barkov. And what a save by Allen on Verhaeghe. Play continues. And finally, Evans is able to settle things down. But back-to-back fantastic saves by Jake Allen keeps this a one-goal game. So much action at the beginning of the second, just as there was at the beginning of the first period.
Are you able to hear me, Mike?
Here's Pitlik takes a little hit from the back, and the Panthers skated out to center, and we'll just throw it in on goal on Jake Allen and go for some changes. Again, Justin, can't quite hear you on either ColorCast nor YouTube.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you on YouTube, just not on ColorCast.
Okay, hold on.
Get Justin back here in a second, guys, but thank you for your patience once again. I got Noel Achari fighting in the corner, fending off Savard. Achari throws it back to the point. I think I hear you on ColorCast. I heard something there for a second.
Yep. Yep.
Yep, we got you on ColorCast loud and clear now. Wonderful.
Hey, cool.
It's a big hit by Pizzetta. Yeah, we got you. For a second there, we had you.
Oh. Yeah, my internet connection's not been good the last few days.
What's up?
My internet connection's not been great the past few days. There's been a little bit of connection problems over here.
Okay, yeah, so I got you on ColorCast. Yeah, just trying to, again, lower the volume. Yeah, I got you on ColorCast now.
Yeah, okay.
I think. Either way, again, there's a delay on the YouTube stream, but the ColorCast was working. Try to get it working more on ColorCast if you can.
Yeah, I can always try leaving it and coming back. How's that?
Yeah, look. Try again. I heard you. Just it was coming, I think, from YouTube, not ColorCast.
Okay. Hold on one sec.
There's Sam Bennett through center to Duclair to Sherratt. Sherratt to the net, but he gets steered off of this puck. And here's Caulfield on a breakaway. Caulfield in all alone on Spencer Knight. Caulfield just misses the net to the blocker side of Spencer Knight. Caulfield with a great chance on a breakaway. Can't bury it. Here he is again, though. Caulfield shoots just wide again on Spencer Knight. Missing twice, and the shot goes wide there by Joel Edmondson. Back-to-back misses by Caulfield. I think Spencer Knight might have gotten a piece of at least one of them. The shot gets blocked down in front of the Panthers' goal. Bennett out to center.
Ooh, just onside there.
So again, in terms of audio, there, Justin? Try to get it working as much
Yeah.
as you can on ColorCast. Like, we'll keep the viz and
Yeah.
some audio on YouTube, of course. But oh, I heard you. Yeah, there you go. I think you're
Yeah.
good on ColorCast now. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So again, under 15 to go here, 2-1 Florida, and they are massively shooting the Canadians. Allen has been spectacular, especially at the top of the second period here. Is that just the case, Justin, of him like reading the play and just executing those saves, especially that glove side there?
Especially when you're in the zone there and you're seeing the puck, you're basically feeling like you're stopping everything. I know for myself, whenever I'm in net, I'm in the zone, I feel like I'm catching everything, I'm stopping everything, and it's clear his confidence is there. I mean, I on that first goal, I saw the replay on that. It's clearly, he obviously just didn't have his net. He was maybe a little too aggressive to the short side, but other than that, no, he's playing very well. I mean, we were just clearly just getting outshot, but he's making the saves.
Yeah, and also Spencer Knight there now. I don't know. I have to see the replay on those Caulfield breakaways because I don't know if Spencer Knight stopped those or Caulfield just flat out missed. But I find Spencer Knight at least there, like when you have a guy like Caulfield, a sharp shooter who just flat out misses like that. That's a case of the goaltender just looking big in the net and taking away everything.
Yeah, definitely. I think from the looks, it looks like Caulfield maybe.
We have a goal off a deflection in front of the net by Jake Evans. We have a tie game.
Well, there we go. My Budweiser red light's going off.
I hear it.
There you go. That was a beauty. Jake Evans has been just rock solid for us this year. He's just an all-around great player, great penalty killer. He just works so hard, and it's always good seeing him getting these results.
I'd say he's the perfect bottom six forward. Jake Evans is. He's just the perfect bottom six forward.
Absolutely.
Because he's not going to be like he's not productive enough offensively to be a consistent top two center, but he's getting better at faceoffs. He works relentlessly. He is just, and he has honestly sneaky skill. Like his skill is not consistent enough to produce like at a point per game level, but he has scored some goals this year that are like, man, that's a dirty deke or a dirty deflection like we just saw.
Yeah, he had that beautiful goal against, I believe it was against LA, where he just did that inside out move and far corner. And he has the ability to make us all kind of have our jaws drop at times, just with some of the plays that he makes.
And on that play there, again, that's a no chance on Spencer Knight because that's just a very clever deflection where the puck is basically losing half its speed on the way to the net there with that deflection.
Oh, absolutely. And those are really hard to read too, especially, if you're a goalie and you're reading the puck coming one way and you get the misdirection, it completely throws you off. Like last night I was playing in my men's beer league and I had one kind of very similar to that where a guy teed up and I see the shot coming in and then one guy tips it and I just, I'm reading glove and then it just completely, dips on me, and they're just so hard to read.
Well, that's where as a goaltender, it's like we have that's our challenge is to really not necessarily read and react, but it's more so the read than reacting because we have to read the shot off of the shooter's stick. And that's where sometimes, while we give up some like volleyball knuckle puck goals that go in, sometimes they don't look pretty. They look bad. Actually, they look really bad. But those are just the case of sometimes like it's tricky because you're expecting kind of like the goal that Datsuk scored on Niemi way back in the day, that shootout goal where literally you're expecting a fastball, but you get like a slider or a changeup out of nowhere. And that's where, again, just it's just a matter of not getting a proper read off the shot.
Oh, absolutely. And, some shooters have really, really great deception in disguising their shot or for a pass or vice versa. It's very tricky at times. Some guys are very good at disguising it.
It sounds like Analytical Mind in the comment section is also a goalie there. So we have all three goalies here. I love it.
It's awesome.
It's the goalie's corner here on ColorCast in this Habs-Panthers stream.
So speaking of goalies, Langer, what kind of gear do
So
you
we got
use?
Oof. What kind of gear do I use? I still got my Reebok Revokes from way
Oh.
back in the day, from when I was playing, from my final playing days about 10 years ago.
Oh man, I had a set like that
7
once.
years
I actually
ago.
really like them. I use currently I use this CCM E-Flex 3, like the Carey Price ones with the matching gloves with his name embroidered in them and everything. Fantastic
You got
set.
them custom made?
No, I got them off of Sideline Swap.
Oh, okay. No,
They were
honestly,
such
those
a
are.
good.
I wanted to get those at one point, but I'm also trying to, like, maintain my gear that I've had for so long, and they're not as white as flashy bright white as they used to be, but that's a good thing because they've seen a lot of rubber.
Oh yeah.
So you got Caulfield intercepting it in the zone, but he gets pushed off the puck by Sam Bennett. In the corner, Savard gives another Panther the business, but Bennett behind the net throws out in front. Savard cuts it off. Puck makes its way back to Bennett now in the left wing. Bennett to the point. Here's Sherratt, D to D. Across a shot. Nice stop by Jake Allen there from the point shot. Here's Huberdeau to the point. To Sherratt. Sherratt holds, fires. It gets deflected. They score! That got deflected in front there by Anthony Duclair, the pride of the West Island of Montreal, and the Panthers regain the lead.
That's nice. There's no way you could tell Allen looked completely completely confused on that shot there.
So that's a case. Oh, he didn't even get a chance to see that deflection. Although they're arguing, is that a high stick maybe? I think that's the immediate reaction from David Savard there was that touched by Duclair a little bit higher than his shoulder. By the way, I think Analytical Mind is saying here, awesome. Wow, I have the old Flyer Penguin Reeboks, just aged myself. Flurry. Yeah, those yellow ones are, I love those Flurry yellow pads from the Pittsburgh days. And you take care. Cheers as well to you, Analytical Mind. Great having you on the cast, and definitely do rejoin later if you can. Loved your insight in the comment section, and perhaps I'll have you back on the hot seat in the intermission as we continue to look at this high stick, this potentially a high stick by Anthony Duclair. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's definitely a tough one.
Is
that conclusive enough, though, Justin?
It all depends on where he made contact with the puck, right?
Exactly.
Now,
but here's again, when you look at the replay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, is this the challengeable play, or is this they have to look at it?
Well, it's being reviewed. It's a review.
Okay.
It's not, I don't know if it's challengeable, but it's one that's like automatically reviewed. I honestly am still confused with how, like, the whole challenge versus. I know for offsides, I think that has to be challenged, but for like a high stick or a goalie interference, I think, or actually goalie interference could also be challenged, but high stick I think is, I don't know. It's so inconsistent. It changes seemingly every year with how they do replays, and who knows what the right call is anyway. But the goal will stand. Duclair has his 25th of the season. A couple of years ago, who would have thought that Duclair would have 25 goals in a given year? But that's what happens when you're a skilled player playing with Jonathan Huberdeau.
Even had that good year in Ottawa too, where he put some decent numbers there too. And he was playing in Ottawa when Ottawa wasn't doing so good.
But you also remember how he had that offseason where he basically represented himself and kind of got lowballed into signing that contract with Florida. But now he is definitely paying off his providing Florida with a lot of value with 25 goals on the year.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's a player that, even back to his days, I believe it was with the Rangers too, that he showed some upside, but then he had a couple of down years, and it's just nice to see him that he's picked himself back up and he's producing.
So now we have a potential 2-on-2. I thought it was a 2-on-1 for a second there developing. Panthers streak back in the Habs zone. There's Giroux throwing it to the front of the net, but quickly intercepted there by Yoel Armia. And back the other way come the Canadians. There is a quick shot by Byron that goes wide. kept in by Petrie. Another quick shot stopped by Spencer Knight. Swept away to Claude Giroux, and Giroux will try to go for a long stretch pass there, but couldn't quite get handled there by Verhaeghe. Either way, the Panthers are able to set up in the Habs zone for the moment. Here's Barkov. Barkov to the blue line. D across to Forsling, and the shot on net is easily stopped by Jake Allen. He saw that all the way with the glove, and he will force a whistle to his right. Again, just you see on that goal there, just also Savard was a screen in front of that deflection. So another way that you didn't see that. As a goalie, I know like on 90% of shots, even from the point, like you would go down just in case it does get deflected. But that one was going high all the way until Duclair deflected that. And again, David Savard was a perfect screen, or a perfectly imperfect screen on that one. I just find David Savard, even though he doesn't, like, I find he is, as you have a Tyler Pitlik streaking in with a quick shot and a nice stop there by Spencer Knight. Get to Savard, my point on Savard in a second, as Dvorak gets it to Weidman. Weidman down low to Pitlik, but he gets knocked down by Sherratt behind the net. And in potentially all alone, here come the Panthers with a quick shot and a nice save there by Jake Allen. That was Patrick Hornqvist, who took advantage of a little bit of space down that right wing, but Allen read him all the way.
Nice glove save. Yeah, but going to what you're saying about David Savard.
I was just going to say, I think he's a more willing offensive defenseman than people give him credit for. Not offensive defenseman, but more willing to join the rush than people give him credit for. He's just very clumsy when he does it.
Yeah, he has sometimes the ability to make that really quick move, or he'll like, whoa, didn't know he could do that.
Like, I remember I was at the Leafs game where he joined in, like he was like the trailer on a 2-on-1 or 3-on-2 that developed.
Yeah.
It's just when he had the puck on his stick, he had a wide open net, but literally aimed for the corner. Like,
yeah.
I was like, well, come on, man, so that was that's just what happens whenever he joins the rush. But sometimes he'll accidentally deflect it in off a player and score like he did last game. So now here's Duclair dropping it off for Huberdeau. Huberdeau to the point. Streaking in is Montour. Montour to Bennett to Duclair. Duclair in front to Huberdeau on the backhand. Nice stop by Allen. Rebound is swept in front. Allen stopped that one. Kept in, though, by Duclair until Caulfield tries to get it out of the zone, and he will draw a penalty on Duclair for slashing. Duclair slashed Caulfield's stick out of his hands, and the Habs will go back to the power play.
This is going to be a big opportunity for them to try and tie up this game here. We'll have to see if they're going to be using their snipers, if they're going to use Hoffman or Caulfield on the end boards there. Hopefully, we could see some one-timers go in on Florida.
Well, we barely had a chance to settle in the last time the Habs were on a power play. They scored 29 seconds into the game. Never mind 29 seconds on the power play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to see Caulfield get a couple of looks on net here. He had a dead angle shot there that was stopped by Spencer Knight. But I'm curious as to see how Caulfield missed those two prime scoring chances earlier on the period, one on the breakaway, one immediately after the breakaway. The way I called that reminded me of how Bob Cole called the Desjardins goal.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
A little different. 1993 Cup final. Yeah, just a little different. But anyway, it was like
a little different.
Missed breakaway. Then he had another follow-up chance, but then he also missed that follow-up chance. So
good old Bob Cole.
Yeah, just a little.
Oh, baby.
But either way, so I want to see Caulfield, who, by the way, I looked this up earlier today. Yeah, if Caulfield, who right now has 22 points in 18 games since Marty St. Louis took over, if Caulfield manages to, if he would have been able to keep that pace up over the course of an entire season, he'd have 100 points.
Yeah, the Habs haven't had 100-point players since Mats Naslund.
Kind of lost your audio there for a second, Justin, at least on ColorCast.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, the Habs haven't had
on ColorCast.
Oh, the Habs haven't had a 100-point player since
ColorCast now.
since Matt Snaslin, this guy right here.
Wow. That far back, eh? Back in the 90s or 80s
Yeah.
even.
80s.
Matt
Yeah.
Naslin goes way back. He was Marcus's father, right?
I am not 100% on that.
80s,
It's
okay.
very
Way
possible.
back.
Uh,
Wow, that
uh,
not even the 90s?
And it's funny too because to Matt Snaslin,
Really?
Marty St. Louis wore number 26 because of Matt Snaslin. That was his favorite Hab growing up.
Well, there you go. It all comes around.
Exactly.
So right now, Anderson makes a Panther fall, and it's taken by Mackenzie Weegar, who will just throw it out to center, and the Habs will get a penalty as Josh Anderson will be guilty of the trip in the offensive zone. So that will do it for the Canadiens' power play with not much time into it.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate.
Yeah,
The
Justin,
Habs-
that's just one of those cases where you get the stick caught in the wrong spot there at the wrong
Yep.
time. As but it's tripping.
Yeah.
So face-off will be in the Canadian zone, as we'll have a little 4-on-4 action here, second period, and I think we'll have about 30 seconds remaining when the penalty to Duclair expires. Yeah, so we'll have a minute 20 of 4-on-4 action. So the Panthers will have a 44-second power play. But here comes Jake Evans with speed down the right wing. Evans running out of space, though. He'll put the brakes on. Quick pass to Romanov in front. And oh, what a save by Spencer Knight. Rebound is not converted on by Rem Pitlik, but Rem Pitlik gets absolutely denied by Spencer Knight.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
What a save. I can't wait to see the replay on that. As Hoffman, and that was a sweet pass by Romanov also. And Spencer Knight just stuck right with it. And he makes another save here on the point shot. And back the other way come the Panthers. Down the right wing, that's Weegar in front to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe gets muscled off the puck, though, by Petrie. And Edmondson banks it off the wall and out to Hoffman. Hoffman goes for a stretch pass to Petrie, but that's out of his reach, and that goes the length for icing. Now here, let's see this fantastic save by Spencer Knight. So that was Evans with a great pass to Romanov, with a great pass to Pitlik, and just, with the paddle, Spencer Knight just denied Rem Pitlik in front.
Kind of remind me of the save Carey Price made against the Leafs.
Of the year candidate. And he stopped him with the back of his skate.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, also then also he stopped him with the back of his skate.
Right? Which reminds me of the save Carey Price made against Nashville in his hurt season.
Exactly, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, back in like 2016, 2017, I want to say. Or the year before.
14, 15.
Those years are a little... Okay, 14, 15. Yeah, those years are a little bit more of a blur in my memory for some reason. I don't know why. Like, they all kind of fused together.
They all look...
Maybe because I didn't get a chance to watch every single game like I did until that point, but either way. As the penalty expires, Panthers on the power play. Here's Barkov. Download to Duclair out of the box. Duclair goes to the point. D to D. Here's Mackenzie Weegar. Weegar waits to the left wing to Huberdeau. Back up top to... No shot there coming from... Montour back to Huberdeau, behind the net to Barkov, to Huberdeau to Montour. Montour loses it, and the Habs are able to clear the zone all the way down the ice, and that will pretty much do it for the Panthers power play. As Anderson in 3 seconds will jump right back into the mix. Perhaps one last rush here for the Panthers. Here's Huberdeau across the line to the point, but cut off there by. But then here a quick shot is just wide there by Gudis. Huberdeau on the follow-up chance can't quite handle the pass. Huberdeau in front, gets cut off again, ends up going to the point. There to Forsling. Now Huberdeau on his backhand to Forsling. Forsling, quick shot, gets knocked down in front by Giroux. Play continues in the Habs zone. Here's Huberdeau at the point. Huberdeau walks, waits, shoots, passes, or shot is blocked by Dvorak. Romanov recovers it. Romanov to Dvorak. Dvorak will just flip it out to center, and they'll go for some changes. And now here comes Gustav Forsling down the right wing, behind the net. Forsling doing the full circle of the Habs zone. Forsling drops it off there for Luosterainen, rather. Yeah, Luosterainen, but that shot ended up going wide. Luosterainen back to Reinhardt. A shot just goes wide and way wide and out of play. So we'll get a whistle and a face-off back in the Canadian zone.
That was close.
Yeah, nice puck movement there by the Panthers. I think that's their fourth line between Luosterainen and Forsling from the defensive spot. Yeah, just some good looks there by the Panthers, but they could not solve Jake Allen on that shift.
Allen's playing really solid right now. He's keeping the Habs in this one.
Absolutely. And even though the Panthers do have 3 goals, they are outshooting the Canadians by quite a significant margin.
At least 2-1 right now.
Yeah, exactly. Just, all this time I didn't have the box score in front of me. And by the way, we got the Canada taking on Costa Rica later tonight. If they win tonight, they will qualify for the World Cup for the first time since 1986.
Wow, I would have been a year and a half old.
Yeah, I would have been minus 9 years old. But yeah, just I won't be able to watch it since I have to be up literally at 3:30 in the morning because we're doing radio shows tomorrow from 6 a.m. till 10. So I'm going to be basically going to sleep or trying to go to sleep here at school right after the Habs game. But yeah, just really looking forward to Canada getting a chance to qualify for the World Cup for the first time in over 30 years. And just back to Jake Allen, though, he has 23 saves on 26 shots. And obviously, besides that first goal, not much of a chance on the last 2 goals he gave up.
Yep. Hey, I got to ask you a question here. Is that the PK?
Like a reunion with PK Subban?
No, the hat you're wearing right now, is that the PK Subban hat?
No, it's
the
not.
blue?
It's just a blue Habs hat from that was in my dad's office, and I asked him if I could take it with me to Toronto. He said, yeah, so I took it with me to Toronto,
Oh, yeah. Cool. I have the limited edition PK Subban hat that kind of looks like that, except, it's kind of got the flat brim with the blue.
Nice.
And it's got PKS on the back.
Love it. I try not to buy too many branded player items except for jerseys, just because, again, like PK, if they get traded or sign elsewhere, then it doesn't become very useful. But but yeah, but I'll get T-shirts and I'll get the odd jersey. Like I have a Caulfield playoff jersey or Stanley Cup final jersey. But again, that's for I really think it through before getting a player jersey. They have to be like a young player who's going to be on the team for a long time. Like my girlfriend just got me an Amari Cooper jersey for the holidays, and look what happened. Nice. So
yeah, you got traded.
I mean, he was under contract for a couple more years. Just the cap hit was way too high, which is why they got rid of him. But anyway, number one dad asking which hat. My dad in the audience there asking me which hat, the blue one that I always wear. As Alan makes a nice save in close. You can watch it. Look on YouTube. You got the answer. Just tune in on YouTube there, Dad, as well as ColorCast. Don't leave ColorCast though. But yeah, just you'll see for yourself on YouTube. But yeah, I should remember my dad was tuned into our caster. But obviously, love my mom and dad for tuning into every single cast here on ColorCast, and really appreciate them. Of course. As the Habs in the
are your parents in Montreal?
Zone, Hoffman falls down, tries to get to the point. Evans able to knife it into the zone. They are still in Montreal, yeah.
Awesome. Love people from the 5-1-4.
As he does so well. Here's Evans. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you were from the 5-1-4, so
that's right.
As Spencer Knight just high pucks that one, high points that puck, and forces a whistle, just snatching it out of midair. can't see it on ColorCast, that's my go-to station. I appreciate that. Yeah, ColorCast. Obviously, the primary focus is the ColorCast stream, but we're just keeping it on YouTube to also show some love to our YouTube audience, who is just as important, but also just to capture the stream. And, just maybe at one point when I have time in the future, I'll make a little mix of these casts and live streams I've done. I've already been working on one for the Super Bowl, for when we won the Super Bowl. So I'll see when and where I can publish that once I've put the finishing touches on it. But either way, the face-off comes out to the neutral zone, and the Habs looking to recoup here with Edmondson just throwing it ahead, deflected into the Panthers zone. Spencer Knight out to play it. He'll just drop it off. I'll just drop it off there for Robert Haig, recently acquired at the deadline. A quick shot, or offside rather, at the Canadiens' blue line, so we'll get a face-off outside of the Canadian zone. Olli Jokinen, I'm guessing you're watching it on TSN there, Justin, but Olli Jokinen has now been passed by both Barkov and Huberdeau with how they've produced in terms of as franchise leaders, or all-time franchise leaders in scoring. And just remember back in the day, Olli Jokinen was a beaut for the Panthers.
He was. He was a journeyman too. I remember he had time with Winnipeg at one point. Florida is the one that obviously comes to mind, but he's played for a few clubs over his career. But yeah, he was also quite the he was quite the interesting character too with the media too. I remember he had some interesting interviews.
He was a franchise center for the Panthers before he was a journeyman. Yep. So and thank you for the hat, Dad. Thank you for the nice hat. But play continues now in the Habs zone now. There's Barkov with some dipsy doodling, but has to leave the zone as he is being closely watched there by Paul Byron, who finally goes off for a change. Jeff Petrie now will just flip it cross way into the Panthers zone. Taken by Pizzetta. Pizzetta to the point. Here's Tyler Pitlik. Tyler Pitlik with a quick shot goes wide. Savard on the right wing. Now Savard towards the front of the net. No one able to bang that one home. It rolls its way out to the neutral zone, and Romanov will just take it right back and fire it to Laurent Dauphin. Dauphin with speed down the right side, entering the Panthers zone. Dauphin now to the net. Stopped by Knight. Rebound is thrown wide there by Tyler Pitlik, wearing Philip Deneau's number 24. That's why I have Philip Deneau flashbacks, even though Pitlik is a right-handed shot and Deneau is a left-handed shot. A quick shot from the point there is gloved down by Spencer Knight, and we'll have a face-off to his right. So do you think Laurent Dauphin, Justin, should get a roster spot for next year? Or do you think he's just one of those guys that's filling a spot in this lost season?
Well, it's hard to say. He's, like I was mentioning earlier, he's put in a lot of hard work. He's he's kind of been on an interesting journey back to the NHL, and I guess he's kind of earned his spot this year. And I guess for next year, I guess it really depends what we do in the offseason too, and what we bring in, who we draft, and if there's going to be players that are going to be coming up from Laval at all, or it's going to be an interesting topic really for discussion during the offseason. For will he be there? I don't know, but I mean, it's going to be tough. But he certainly has earned his spot this season based off of how he's put his work in this year.
So now down the left wing side, that was Pitlik, but he runs out of space, and Evans will take it back behind the net, holds on to it in the zone. Quick shot from a dead angle there by Hoffman is stopped by Spencer Knight. And now the Panthers recoup and will go back the other way. And it is flipped way ahead there to Sam Reinhart, but it was touched by high sticks. So we'll have a whistle likely in the neutral zone. And Laurent Dauphin to me is just a guy who, not only the offseason, but he could stick around also for training camp, and you just kind of fit him on the wing, at center, wherever you see fit. And he could just be like that extra, you play like the Michael Frolik role from last year and just be like that 13th forward who alternates between just filling in wherever he's needed. And maybe he has a 2-way contract and is able to go to Laval, or if he has a 1-way contract, he gets put on waivers, and if he gets claimed, then so be it. But it's just an extra body who could provide some energy and a little different vibe to the to the fourth line.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know
We're
about
getting
you,
a
but
discussion
there's
on, I guess, where the
Yeah.
face-off should be, by the way. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know about you, but I see a very strong resemblance between Rem Pitlik and Nick Foles.
Kind of.
There's certain times
Nick
I look at
Foles is
Rem
like
Pitlik
what,
and it's like,
7 inches taller than Rem Pitlik, though.
yeah, well, yes. I was trying to, like, every time I'd see Rem Pitlik, I'm like, he looks like somebody, and then I was like, you know what? He looks a bit like Nick Foles. Oh, delayed game penalty, maybe.
Wait, so sorry, Justin. We have a delay of game here coming up for Florida. So Ben Sherratt flipped it out to center, and then it was touched. It was touched with a high stick by Sam Reinhart and deflected out of play, but didn't go out of play.
Interesting.
Either way, it results in a delay of game penalty for Ben Sherratt, who has been one of the more penalized Montreal Canadiens defensemen over the last couple of years, and he gets his penalized for delay of game for puck over glass, and probably one of the weirdest puck over glass penalties that you'll ever see. Habs looking to set up on the power play, but it is taken there by by Giroux, rather, to Barkov, shorthanded, in on a shorthanded rush. Giroux being watched by Wideman. Giroux doing a great job wasting time behind the Habs goal line, but finally there's Petrie coming out with it, and Habs will finally go back the other way, led by Wideman, who drops it off for Petrie after not liking what he saw, or Suzuki, rather. Suzuki loses it, but does a good enough job coming back and takes a breakaway chance away from Luosterainen. And here's now Wideman as there are 55 seconds to go in the period. The Canadiens haven't really been able to do much in terms of setting up offensively on this power play. And there's another clearing attempt by Florida as 43 seconds remain only on this power play. Petrie will look to lead another rush. Through center, there's Hoffman. Hoffman leaving it for, I think, Pitlik, but it was taken once again by Florida, and they clear it out. Habs unable to get anything going on this particular power play.
Yeah, Florida does such a good job at
22 seconds to go.
forcing them to.
Armia Hoffman is offside as the Habs remain completely out of sync. We'll have a face-off just outside the blue line.
I was saying, yeah, Florida's been really good at forcing Montreal to make mistakes as they're entering in the zone, and they're just doing a great job killing this penalty.
Yeah, and the Habs also, though, they're doing a not so great job setting up, and kind of like when they've struggled on the power play over the last couple of years, that's been the case. It's just struggling to enter the zone as time is just about to expire here in the second period. The Panthers holding on to a 3-2 lead after 40 minutes. But yeah, that was Justin. That was a pretty pathetic power play. I don't know about you, but yeah, that was a Ducharme power play there. That was a Ducharme special right there.
Yeah,
just a little game of tennis
unfortunately.
back and forth, just not being able to set up and just forcing stuff, and just it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, having the forward coming in and then just relaying the pass back, and they try and force the puck in, it's teams catch on to those patterns pretty quickly and are able to adapt and shut it down. When you look at a team like Florida too, like they've got so many great penalty killers on that team, especially with Barkov.
But again, yeah, they're. They have a bunch of really good two-way forwards. Barkov, a perennial Selke nominee. And of course with they're too deep in net with Spencer Knight and Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
So So that's also part of it. But I still want to see a little bit more from this Habs power play. I mean, they did score earlier in the game, to their credit. Like they scored with like on the opening power play that they had, but just the last two have not really been inspiring much confidence. And by the way, Florida is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, middle of the pack, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16th on the penalty kill at 80% this year coming into this game.
Okay.
So again, through 40 minutes here, Justin.
Yeah.
Just again looking at a couple of other big picture things here. So, how do you think the Canadiens should approach free agency?
Well, with Marty St. Louis there, I mean, they should approach it in many different ways. I mean, before we used to have the Mark Bergevin vision and so on. So this is a new brand of hockey we're promoting, and I think we got to really promote our market as for free agents to come and want to play here. Everybody who's left to be a trade or what it may be have said they've loved playing in Montreal. There's nothing like it. I really hope that with Kent Hughes at the helm, he can attract some big names, and because he knows both sides of the game now. He was that agent, he was the player agent for so many years, and you got guys like St. Louis and Le Cavalier in your system. That could attract some big names, I feel like.
And I will I know earlier on, like it just feels like between from Jeff Gordon to hiring Kent Hughes to hiring St. Louis, it's been a lot of networking, of network connections, of hockey, of connections that those men have had in their hockey networks, right? Like Jeff Gordon has a working relationship with Kent Hughes. Kent Hughes represented Vinny LeCavalier, so that's how he brought him on. And obviously he also was he also has a connection to Marty St. Louis. Forget exactly what it was, but in free agency, talk about free agency, because again, Pierre LeBrun, who is on our screen now, mentioned that the Canadiens could be aggressive suitors in free agency. But do you see them going after guys like Chris Letang, or dare I say Patrice Bergeron, who are also represented by Kent Hughes?
It could be very possible. I know Kent Hughes says he wants to pursue a couple big names in the free agent market. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went after, a guy like Chris Letang to play, because he's a right-handed shot defenseman. I wouldn't be surprised if they went after a guy like him. And with that being said, I mean, I could see them going after a guy like that on a short term. I could say like 1-2 years, because going long term at that age just doesn't make very much sense. But I'd love to see it. Obviously, I'd love to see Bergeron coming on board, because he's got that experience. He's a guy that Nick Suzuki really looks up to. But I just have a hard time saying Bergeron moving on from Boston. That's just my take. But I could definitely see Pittsburgh being, saying like, what's time to move on from Chris Letang. Let's focus on our youth. But I could see that. Just the big thing is term is really the biggest thing when you look at a guy that age.
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry. So your YouTube feed is a little bit ahead of your I was actually just your ColorCast feed is a little bit behind the YouTube right now. Try to make the
okay.
ColorCast on sync. That's okay, because I heard like all your points through YouTube. But all this to say is I think that with the Canadian situation on defense, like I would say, and I agree that term is a huge thing, because you want to allow for Logan Mailloux, who again, that whole scandal, we at some point have to get behind it, but eventually they will, and he's one of their top defensive prospects, so he will be on that right side. And then also you have Justin Barron, who they just brought in, who would be suited for that right side. So if you're signing someone to be a number one defense, like if you're signing a Letang to be a number one defenseman option, well, then you don't want it to be longer than, I would say, 4 years, because at a certain point you want your young players to have the chance to earn that role and ideally get paid less early on doing so.
Exactly. I'll just be a second here, Mike. I just have to adjust something here.
Yeah, no
I'll
worries,
just
no
be a
worries.
sec.
So yeah, so again, we're at the intermission here. We'll get Justin back on here in a little bit, but yeah, that's it's one of those things that we talked about in one of our previous casts of the Montreal Canadiens a couple of weeks ago, in terms of deciding how they approach free agency. With I feel like Letang is more of a likelihood, as we see Steve Shutt here was offered Steve Shutt number 22, just like Cole Caulfield. I would say it's more likely that we see Letang be signed than Patrice Bergeron, because I think Patrice Bergeron has just found a comfortable home in Boston, and just we talked about actually as recently as last week that Bergeron is unlikely to leave Boston. But perhaps if Letang can't work out an extension with Pittsburgh, look out. And that would allow, so then Petrie and Letang would be your right-handed defenseman, and then they would just honestly leave that bottom spot for whether it's a Byron or a Logan Mailloux or even maybe a Josh Brook, or maybe a Jordan Harris, who is expected to finally sign his entry-level deal after this season. All this to say is that the way that Hughes and Gordon have really built the Canadiens' blue line and defense core has been really, they've created a lot of flexibility for themselves. They've created a lot of depth in terms of their prospect pool, or they've added to the depth that they already have. And when we get Justin back, I do want to ask him what, I guess, the expectations we should have in terms of their prospect pool, because I have always been the type of guy that doesn't really care so much for prospects until they start showing what they can really do at the NHL level. And obviously, not to say that I would get rid of all my prospects to try to acquire a high-end, like a short-term rental solution who will not be able to be re-signed like at a trade deadline, just for them to leave in free agency for nothing. So I still obviously would want to manage my prospects' values wisely. But at the same time, I remember there were days where Habs fans and Habs Twitter would be like, "Oh, Greg Pattern would be a top four defenseman, or he would be like the second right-handed defenseman, and playing 18, 20 minutes a game." And look where Greg Pattern is right now. He's like barely a journeyman seventh defenseman. So that's why and Jared Tenorti, like it was Jared Tenorti, Morgan Ellis, Greg Pattern. The future of the Habs defense is so bright. So that's where I would like to temper the expectations a little bit, and just maybe if the Habs could sign a Letang or acquire a right-handed defenseman in free agency or via trade to supplement Jeff Petrie, assuming they keep Jeff Petrie, because they could also turn around and trade Jeff Petrie, which is possible. I'm on board with keeping Jeff Petrie personally, but he has expressed a desire to return home to his family to the U.S. But if COVID restrictions maybe loosen up a little bit, then maybe that won't be as much of an issue. But either way, yeah, I just find that the Canadiens, they have a lot of defensive prospects. They have a lot of bodies on the blue line right now, with the way that Kent Hughes and Gordon have really supplemented their prospects. But yeah, just I think we have Justin back here. Yeah, we got Justin finally back, both on YouTube and ColorCast. Justin, so I was just talking about the defense. I don't know if you heard me, but I'll repeat it real quick. So how, with all the prospects that the Habs have on the blue line, and you think back in the day, they used to have the Tenortis, the Morgan Ellis, the Greg Patterns, and Habs Twitter and Habs fans are all like, "Oh, the future." They're creating the defense pairs of Pattern as the number two, as the second pair right-handed defenseman, and Tenorti with Morgan Ellis on the first pair. When that obviously never happened. So how do we manage the expectations of these Habs defensive prospects?
I just think we got to develop them properly, really. I think the unfortunate thing for the guys you mentioned was possibly they just didn't get developed properly. Maybe we rushed them too quickly. And that's what we've kind of been known to do in the past, is rush guys a little bit too quick into playing in the NHL when perhaps they're not ready. I think just managing the ice time in the minors, getting them the confidence up, and then, much like goalies, right? Like the defensemen, they require maybe a little bit more patience for developing. That's what I think anyway. I think they just need to be a little more patient with them down in the minors, and develop them through juniors. Obviously, no, I'm saying that wrong, but let them take their time in juniors, and then get them up to the AHL, develop them properly, and then have them ready.
The notorious Sylvain Lefebvre.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh boy, that's part of one thing that I really am excited to see how Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon, or as Habs Twitter likes to call them, Hugo, will develop, or one point of emphasis has been player development. And
yeah,
this is another interesting thing. I'm watching the intermission. Obviously, they're talking about player salary cap on agenda GM meetings, which will obviously not allow teams to LTIR players during the season, only to bring them back in the playoffs. I think that's a great point of emphasis or it's great that they're talking about that at the GM meetings. But yeah, back to our discussion about Habs prospects, is I'm really interested to see how Hughes and Gordon, how they execute their emphasis on player development, allow all these young prospects that they've acquired already through trade, but also with the draft picks that they have in the upcoming drafts, how they're going to use those picks to either acquire more prospects or draft young players that they will develop, and how they'll develop them.
Yeah, definitely. That was the big thing that, with Jeff Gorton, was the big thing for him was analytics, which the Habs didn't really do a whole lot of before. So I think this could be a big play into when players will be ready. I mean, it's not anything that we're really used to seeing from the Montreal Canadiens from years past, but it's nice to see them adapting to the modern age of hockey. And, I feel like with the right people in place, they'll. I think we're going to see some success with a lot of those prospects. So they're going to be developed properly with the right people. And from my understanding too, is they're going to be bringing on, or they brought on, some skills coaches as well.
And honestly, I'm not of the belief that it's all analytics and that's it. I feel like analytics is a great way to win you games in the regular season, but I think the Toronto Maple Leafs are a perfect example of how that approach is not perhaps well suited for the playoffs. And then you might need a little bit more of that old school Bergevin approach of being more conservative defensively and being able to be comfortable in a 1-goal game and scoring those grimy, ugly, lucky goals sometimes, because those are because of the amount of, I don't want to get too hyper, I guess, nerdy here, but there's just, hockey has the most variance compared to any sport, compared to basketball, football, baseball. Hockey has the most fluke or variance to what can happen in a given game. So when it comes to the playoffs, the game is much faster, much more physical, much more grimy, and more of a grinder type of game. You need those players that have experience, that have the knowledge of how to perform at a high level when the pressure is on, and how to think the game a lot more simpler and a lot more quicker than in the regular season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if it's I find being defensively, just being more conservative defensively, or just being that's where your bottom six is that much more crucial, especially in terms of matchups. But then also the ability for a bottom six player to make the life of Austin Matthews or Mitch Marner or Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon, the ability for them to make their lives difficult in the playoffs becomes that much more important in a given best of 7 series.
A player that I think of when you say that is Paul Byron, really. Speed, that
Paul
guy.
Byron was key. Oh,
I remember there was a couple games last year where he was matched up against Connor McDavid in overtime and just shut him down. It's crucial.
Just absolutely crucial. The Guy Carbonneau, Bob Gainey, and Doug Jarvis line of the late 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I just find, especially in hockey, there's so much more of that ability to take out your the other team's star players tactically from a game. So that's where you need to mix in you need to have those types of players that become that much more important in a playoff series, for sure. And that's why I think that the answer, so again, in terms of this whole analytics versus old school debate, you gotta just shoot right down the middle. Like so many things in life that are extreme one side versus the other side, the answer usually lies somewhere in between. And I just think that's the case of this in this analytics versus old school debate. And I just hope that that's what the Canadians also emphasize is shooting right through the middle, also in terms of, a little bit of take the concepts from analytics, but also add those types of players that can be tough to play against and are experienced and perform at the big stage.
Yeah, like look at Florida. They got Ben Sherratt there in Florida, and sure, the regular season, is one thing, but the playoffs is a completely different beast, and Ben Sherratt is made for that. So
he's a perfect example because he's been a bull for the Canadians defensively the last two playoff appearances between the bubble and their run to the Cup final for the Habs. So he'll already add that to a defense core that already has Ekblad and Uyghur, like the skill that they bring. So he'll add the physicality and the brawn and the toughness to play against in the to that defense core for sure.
And they also have Radko Gudas there on the back
yeah.
end too. Or he's there too. So they're going to be fun to watch. I think whoever they play in the first round.
I really hope they play the Leafs somehow in the playoffs. The Leafs are screwed in the first round basically because it's very likely gonna be Tampa or Florida. But yeah, either way, who cares about the Leafs? They try to make us they try to make us relevant. We try to make them relevant, even though we shouldn't. But yeah, we're excited. So do you think it's really Florida and then Carolina and Tampa in terms of the best teams in the East, or do you think the gap is a lot closer than we think?
That's tricky because right now Florida's got Bobrovsky and they've got Spencer Knight between the pipes. Bobrovsky's been known to be a little bit shaky in the playoffs, and maybe they can run with Spencer Knight. We'll see how that goes. But I think Tampa is still that team that just has that edge. I think Vasilevsky's just rock solid. Even if Tampa doesn't have Kucherov in that, they have somebody else coming in to step in. So it's tough. Like I think Florida is definitely adding the pieces like Sherrod in there. I think they're up there. But I still think Tampa is the team to beat. And I think Carolina is also Carolina. Part of me says Carolina is a little overrated, but at the same time, too, don't take them too lightly.
They're four deep at center between Trocheck, Stahl, Aho, and Kotkaniemi. So
yeah,
they have probably the best centers out of any other team in the Eastern.
Oh yes, yeah, absolutely.
As we are underway here in the second period between the Habs and the Panthers, once again, It is 3-2 in favor of the Panthers after going into the third period. Now, the power play for the Canadians is about to expire. That weird delay of game penalty that Sherratt took at the end of that second period. I don't think I've ever seen a delay game penalty like that before. But either way, the Habs failed to score on their third power play. But here comes Dvorak on the backhand. Can't quite bury it. That was Josh Anderson rather on the backhand for a short breakaway. They've had a couple of those chances in this game, but Spencer Knight has been solid on all of them. Now Caulfield tried the stretch pass there, but got lost in a Panther skate. So here is Romanov waiting for an opening. Romanov will sweep it across to Savard, but he turns it over. Back the other way come the Panthers. And Sam Bennett couldn't quite get it in front to Duclair, as a nice back check there was made by Romanov. And the Habs are back the other way now. Passes out of the reach for Pitlik. Spencer Knight just sweeps it ahead to Duclair. Duclair gets it ahead to Huberdeau. Back to Duclair. Duclair now over the blue line. Quick shot. Gets deflected up and out of play, so we'll have a face-off inside the Canadian zone. And do you find that Spencer Knight is particularly solid on breakaways compared to other goalies?
He looks very confident. His positioning's good. The good thing with goalies on breakaways don't have too much of a happy feet, if that's the correct word I want to use.
Totally.
He looks very solid, confident in his positioning. And that was close.
Yeah, it was a quick angle shot, just missed there.
But no, he looks great out there. He's if I'm a young goalie, I want to look at kind of like how Spencer Knight carries himself on the breakaways.
So now here comes Verhege, but or Marchman rather, he gets turned away. And Uyghur will set things up going the other way with Sherratt, but the Panthers are offside at the Canadiens' blue line. One thing I'm kind of noticing also, I don't know if you agree, and this is like a very hardcore goalie discussion, I guess, or a goalie point, is that I find goalies with Bauer gear appear bigger than goalies with non-Bauer gear. Like you look at Lundqvist, you look at Vasilevsky, you look at Spencer Knight. Like these are they just appear bigger when they goalies that wear Bauer gear just appear bigger in the net.
Could be just the equipment appears more square, maybe. But like I know when you look at the photo there between Vasi and Carey at the end of the finals, Vasi looked like he was at least 2-3 times bigger.
Like he was morbidly obese compared to Price.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you on that. They always seem to look a little bit bigger.
And that's obviously they mold their game into, like they make that part of their game in terms of just appearing big, taking away space, and just that allows them to not have to worry about reacting and moving as much to cover space.
The other thing I noticed too with the Bauer gear is the pads look more flat, so they look bigger, I guess, to the shooters. Whereas if you look at the True gear, the CCM gear, it's molded more towards the leg.
Mm-hmm.
So it might appear a little bit smaller, but it's also that was close. But
yeah, Jake Allen almost got caught wandering from his net there. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and also Bauer gear too. It's I've never used Bauer gear myself, but from what I've heard, they're great with rebound control.
Oh, here comes a breakaway. Josh Anderson in alone, stopped by Spencer Knight right away. That's like the fourth breakaway that Spencer Knight has had to stop. Second in the last 5 minutes by Josh Anderson, but he gets stoned.
He's solid.
But I like that approach, though, on a breakaway that Anderson had, even though it didn't work. Quick shot, nothing fancy, nothing stupid. Just try to make the goalie panic with your speed, with your body motions, but then just get a quick shot right away while he's like in that panic state. Because if you slow things down, it gives the goaltender the chance to like relax and read and react. Whereas there, at least he went for like the quick, okay, slow down a quick second, but then quick shot, as opposed to, slow down, fake a shot, backhand, forehand, and just at that point the goalie's like, yeah, I got this. I'm not falling for this.
If you saw the reaction tonight there, he didn't drop completely right away like a lot of goalies will drop straight to butterfly right before the shot is. So he actually played more the shot as a reactionary save opposed to a positional save.
Absolutely. As Hoffman gets denied by Spencer Knight's shoulder there on a one-timer. And back the other way, perhaps a 2-on-1 coming for Duclair and Bennett. Bennett, though, nice back check there by Rem Pitlik. The follow-up chance is just missed by Bennett as well. But either way, Evans made that a 2-on-1.5 instead of just a 2-on-1 with that really nice back check. But here's Bennett. Quick shot gets blocked in front. Rebound. Huberdeau can't quite get to that as Schoenemann does a great job boxing him out and takes him out along the wall. Huberdeau gets right back up, though. Here's Duclair with the pass in front. A quick shot there from the point by Montour, stopped by Allen, and Evans will try to get out of the zone, but he can't as Montour wins the battle, but then a penalty coming up because he perhaps tripped Evans a little bit there in that effort to take that puck away, and he will be penalized for interference.
Yeah, Montreal right now is 1 for 4 on the power play with one shot on net.
That one shot was the goal.
Yep.
So if you take away that goal, no shots on any of the power plays. And yeah, so it was Sam Bennett who just caught Evans without the puck for interference. So he'll be serving the 2-minute penalty as the Habs will get their 5th power play of the game. Here's Caulfield with a nice move, and he almost lost it there to Barkov, but he keeps the zone. And a quick pass in front to Anderson, can't quite connect. Caulfield now with a stretch pass across to Suzuki. Suzuki has to hesitate to handle that. Caulfield now from a dead angle goes to the point to Weidman, back to Caulfield across to Suzuki, but out of his reach, and Puck comes out of the zone, so the Habs will have to regroup, but Caulfield re-enters the zone right away to Suzuki, to Anderson, who loses it, lifted his eyes a little too soon, and Barkov will skate it out to center and just backhand it below the goal line as Lestalainen, and boy, I'm having a hard time with that name, Lustalainen, was giving some trouble to Weidman behind the net, but finally he goes off for a change, and actually still there, but finally Weidman will delay and wait for things to open up before taking it back the other way. Now here's Rem Pitlik. Bank it to Hoffman. Hoffman throws in front to Armia. Byron jumps into the mix, so to keep it in the slot. Schoenemann to Pitlik. Back to Schoenemann. Back to Pitlik. Pitlik to Schoenemann. The quick shot stopped by Knight. He gave up a rebound, but Armia unable to bank that one home. Pitlik is able to keep things going to Hoffman on the other side. Schoenemann holds the line and deflects it into the crowd. So we will have a face-off. Actually, it might have gone off a Panther. We'll see where they spot this one. Either way, we'll have a face-off.
Yeah, we got a shot on goal.
Yeah, second shot on goal of on 5 power plays by the Canadians, like you said. Better late than never. What do you think of Corey Schoenemann?
He's doing great. Really impressed with how he's played. He's played very solid hockey. I think he's going to probably be on the team next year, to be honest with you. He's played great.
So you got Caulfield with a little bit of space. Caulfield shoots, stopped by Knight, but the puck just trickled wide, almost trickled in, but it stays out of the net. And I believe that was one of the defensemen. I think that was Weegar deflecting it off the glass and out, as there are now 10 seconds to go here in the Canadiens' power play. Not much of a chance to get maybe one more rush here, but the puck is out of the reach of Caulfield, and a slapper there by Sherratt is kept in at the line. Here's Suzuki now with a nice move. Suzuki with a dead angle shot, stopped by Knight. The rebound was out of Caulfield's reach, and the puck rolls all the way back out to the neutral zone, and the Canadiens will reset. So here is now Robert Hagg, but a penalty, offensive zone penalty coming up for Josh Anderson for a trip on Robert Hagg. So after the Canadiens power play, the Panthers will go on the power play after the commercial. And but yeah, just talking about Corey Schoenemann though. Yeah, like he's a guy, like I don't know if he'll be like a top 2 defenseman, but he's a guy that can sneak his way into like the one of the bottom 2 spots, ideally on the left side, but just an above average sized body who can skate and handle the puck. So there's always room for that at some point along your blue line. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, it's from the small sample sizes that we've seen from him this year, it's been very, very promising. He looks confident out there, and it's always nice when you see guys and you bring up from the minors and they're performing well. It's always good to see.
And I don't know if we're going to have a commercial, actually, but either way, Josh Anderson, second time this evening. Oh, yeah, we will have a commercial break. But the second time this evening, Josh Anderson gets his stick caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And yeah, like, look, honestly, training camp, I know training camp is more of an exciting time for football because position battles seem a little bit more relevant in football than they do in hockey. But it feels like this blue line for the Canadiens will be an interesting position battle to see who comes out on top for the bottom 3 spots, and even Caden Gooley.
Yeah.
Don't forget about Caden Gooley, of course. And he could be a guy that who knows how far up the depth chart he'll be going into next year, but he's a guy that now it'll be his 3rd year in the system next year. I'd expect him to win at least maybe if he doesn't make it onto the roster, at least to be a top player in Laval next year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's shown time and time again, like he plays that physical brand of hockey. What you see with Team Canada and also what he shows in the OHL here, he's going to be an exciting player to watch play. And I've heard a lot of the analysis of him is his play is very similar to Shea Weber, where he just brings leadership every time he's on the ice. So it's going to be a good quality for the Habs to have out there.
I think, though, Weber might have more of the brawn, like the just pure physical toughness, but Caden Gooley, I feel like, is a better skater.
Yes.
And obviously far
absolutely.
more inexperienced, of course, but
Yeah.
we're right back after a quick ending to the commercial break. Quick shot on net, and they score! The Panthers take a 4-2 lead off a quick shot from Sam Reinhart.
Well, that one stings.
Yeah, it was coming. It was probably
Really?
coming. With all the shots the Panthers had in this game, it was probably inevitable. And
Old
and yeah,
Sam Reinhart.
Sam Reinhart just a bit of a I don't know. I don't love that goal on Josh Allen, on Jake Allen though, to be honest. And Romanov was kind of screening him a little bit there. I will say Romanov, one of the biggest faults to his game is I don't love his work on the penalty kill, I find. Because a lot of penalty goals the Habs give up when shorthanded, like Romanov is usually in the frame, either half covering someone, half screening, just not in the right place at the right time.
Out of position, yeah. Or he's trying to be too aggressive.
Yeah, and that's one thing he definitely needs to work on. Love his aggressiveness at 5-on-5. Love his puck moving ability. Maybe not in terms of his ability at playing the point, but just making a good first pass, like that good old cliche for like the old first pass like Lidstrom. Okay, not like Lidstrom, but yeah, he makes a decent first pass. But either way, like I find it on penalty kill coverage has always been a weak spot for him in his first 2 seasons with the Canadiens. As here's Allen behind the net, leaves it for Schoenemann. Schoenemann will just shovel it ahead to center, but turned over in the neutral zone. Panthers perhaps on a 3-on-2 here. Duclair waits a little too long, gets it to Huberdeau. Huberdeau gets fended off there by Schoenemann. Great work there by Schoenemann to push him off the puck. And now Dauphin the other way to Hoffman. Hoffman in front. Oh, just Rem Pitlik could not quite handle that in his skates. And now back the other way come the Panthers with Duclair over the line. Duclair leaves it there for Achari. Achari behind the net to the point to Mackenzie Weegar. Weegar to D. Now Sherratt winds, fakes. Sherratt to the net and stopped there by Allen, who gloves it down and will draw a whistle. And some more pushing and shoving with Romanov, and it looks like Nutivara after the whistle, and we'll have a face off in the Habs zone.
Oh, what a miss! Right off. Hey, could not handle that pass.
Yeah, just Pitlik was that was more of a not great pass by Hoffman, but he did everything right in terms of freezing off both the defenseman and Spencer Knight to create that space there for to slide that pass across. But like we said, it was just poor execution on the pass. The Panthers win the face-off. Quick shot there by Bennett, gets blocked there by Edmondson. And turn back the other way. The Panthers still enter the Habs zone again. In front, Bennett cannot quite connect that pass to Verhaeghe. Bennett maintains possession to the point. And a quick shot by Haig, blocked down in front. And the Canadiens are able to skate this one out to center with Suzuki rather. Backhander by Anderson, stopped there by Spencer Knight.
Solid positioning there.
Yeah, okay, so if this is a commercial, which it isn't quite yet, we have to talk about reverse VH.
Yeah.
Because yeah, we'll pin that conversation for another commercial break, but we have to have that conversation at one point on this cast and stream here. But yeah, so I'll have a face-off to the right of Spencer Knight with just around 11 minutes to go here in the third period. Armia with a quick shot goes wide. Spencer Knight just shovels it back into the corner. And it is taken by Duclair to Hornqvist. And ahead there for Lomberg. And coming out with it, though, is Romanov, but loses it right away there to Achari. Achari is trying to stay away from Romanov. Achari falls. No arm goes up, though. Puck makes its way back to the neutral zone, steered back, though. But Dvorak intercepts it, and Dvorak takes a hit there by Radko Gudas. Now Achari trying to fend off Byron. Gets it ahead to Lomberg. Lomberg will just flip it out to center, caught by Petrie, who will go D to D to Romanov and just wait for things to settle down before going the other way. Romanov. It loses it, though, right away. Turnover. As a backhander there by Marchment gets stopped by Allen. And right there is Sam Reinhart to hold the zone. Sam Reinhart in a 4-man battle there. Finally, puck comes loose to the left side to Romanov. Romanov will get it out. Glove down by Montour. And a pass ahead to Tyler Pitlik is out of his reach now. Romanov will get it out to center. But here comes Josh Anderson with a little bit of space. Anderson can't quite get the shot off cleanly. Suzuki battling behind the net there with Uyghur. And a quick shot. Suzuki had it right on his stick, but could not get that shot off. He had a wide open net, but he did not have that cleanly on his blade as Allen makes a nice save the other way right away on Sam Bennett. Or rather, Mason Marchment. But just Suzuki. Just so many chances in this game. The Habs were right there, but just couldn't quite bury it as Allen makes a nice save there on Verhaeghe. And now down low here is Barkov. Barkov, the shot gets deflected there by Edmondson. And a quick shot from the point, blocked in traffic. And perhaps back the other way is Pitlik, but he gets defended right away off a nice back check there by the combination of Radko Gudas and Gustav Forsling. A lot of action there, Justin.
Oh, a lot of unfortunate bounces there, and if we got a couple of those, maybe the game will be a little bit closer. But unfortunately, it's not meant to be on those plays.
Jake Evans now across the Panthers blue line. Evans loses it trying to keep it in his skates. A 4-man battle ensues in the corner here between him, Uyghur, or Verhaeghe, and Gudas and Pitlik. They're just battling. Not much movement with the puck here. Crowd getting a little restless here as finally it squirts out to Barkov, who will just shovel it off the glass and out. Romanov gloves it down. And Gudas finally flips it back out, and Romanov will just leave it for Savard as changes are being made on both sides here. Savard will miss his pass to Byron. That will go the distance for an icing, and we'll have a face-off to the left of Jake Allen. So, just very eventful last couple minutes here. As let's see Suzuki now with that chance at the wide open net, but the puck was a little bit
looked like it hit the heel of his stick.
Yeah, or just a little, as they say in French, a little trop vive sur son lame, and he wasn't able to bury it. I find whenever I watch hockey, especially Habs hockey, I know what to say in French, but not even English because of how much I watch RDS.
And RDS.
So I guess whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll let you decide. But
I love the RDS feeds. For myself personally, I love the RDS and TSN feeds. I can't stand for the life of me the TVA feeds.
I just know how much I love again Pierre Hood and Brian Mudryk, how well they call the game. But,
absolutely.
Here we are. But we do a great job as well, so that's why we're here, and we're going to keep calling these games here, both on ColorCast and on YouTube, of course. There's Mackenzie Uyghur banking it off the boards and out to center. Edmondson handles Mason Marchment at the Habs blue line. There's Suzuki forcing a turnover in the neutral zone. Suzuki can't quite keep it, though. Marchment will just bank it off the glass, and it is knocked down there by Edmondson. Edmondson shovels it back in the Panthers zone, but Uyghur on it right away. Mackenzie Uyghur, long stretch pass. Doesn't quite make its way there to Sam Reinhart. Anderson controls it back to Corey Schooneman. Corey Schooneman leaves it to the right side there for Mike Hoffman. Hoffman delays. Doesn't like what he sees. Hoffman leaves it for Edmondson. Edmondson, long stretch pass there to the right side. And now here is Pitlik to Evans. Evans shot. goes off a shin pad. As you can see, Spencer Knight was given a little tap there to Noel Achari, who blocked that shot as it goes out of play. And okay, so now that we're in a commercial break, Justin, we got to have this discussion about goaltenders and reverse VHing, because the way Spencer Knight made a save earlier on, he actually used the proper VH. And just for our audience here, the reverse VH is inside when the goalie is on his post with his inside knee down and his shoulder crouched, as opposed to his inside knee up and his glove above that inside knee. I just find that nowadays goaltenders are just overusing the reverse VH, and shooters have figured them out. So whenever I see a goaltender giving up that type of goal from a reverse VH position, I just get so triggered.
Personally, myself, I don't even use it. I honestly try and stay on my feet as much as I can, to be honest with you.
Well, all due respect, we're both undersized goaltenders, so we don't have much of a choice. So,
I'm shorter than Cole Caulfield, so being on my feet is to my advantage right now. But yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you recall, in the playoffs a couple of years ago, Matt Murray was a prime example of that with Jeff Petrie just firing along the goal line. Yeah, like you're noticing more and more guys are taking shots on bad angles, and they're going in. So yeah, I definitely agree. Shooters are definitely starting to figure out they're starting to figure it out. The reverse VH. Guys are figuring it out. It's plain and simple, and it might come to the point where goalies are going to have to rethink how they're going to cover that part of the net.
And yeah, just because from the reverse VH, you have no opportunity to get any sort of coverage in that area above the shoulder, because your glove, instead of being here, is down here, and your head, I mean, I guess you could kind of hassock it by like trying to head it out, but like there's still going to be inevitably that space, no matter how tall you are, over that shoulder. And yeah. I just think goalies have learned to be more comfortable pushing out of that. I think that's why they stay in that spot, because in the reverse VH, because they feel more comfortable to push out of that stance versus the VH where it's a little bit more awkward. But at least in the VH, you're covering the vertical completely with your glove. Yeah, and still able to sort of get some sort of push off because you're in that one knee down stance. By the way, the Habs have pulled Jake Allen, and will try to get at least one goal here with an extra attacker. And that's another trend I find in today's NHL, that teams are pulling their goalies a lot earlier compared to what we used to see, especially with a multi-goal lead.
Yeah,
as here's Caulfield. Caulfield shoots. Nice save by Spencer Knight, but he was doubtful of that save, as Caulfield, with his deceptive release, gave Knight some trouble. And now here is Weidman at the point, sending it to the right side. Tries sending it to Caulfield, and it doesn't quite get there. I didn't see that was Hoffman on that far side. Hoffman gets it back now on the left wing. Hoffman to Weidman to Caulfield. Caulfield walks in, drops off to Suzuki. His shot from a dead angle does not go, and the puck rolls its way all the way out of the zone. And this is where I guess when you have a 2-goal deficit, you can afford to pull the goalie earlier, assuming you maintain possession and try to get some good looks. So Byron to, I think that was Romanov, who could not quite gain the zone, so we'll have a face-off outside of the Panther zone. And it's so early that the Canadiens pull their goalie that we have a commercial break. So we have one more commercial break before they pull their goalie. But I find it's good with a multi-goal lead, not so much with a 1-goal deficit.
No. You generally, with the 1-goal deficit, you want to play your goalie, between 90 seconds and the last minute of the game, depending on how the possession's going, the momentum. Yeah, exactly. You're noticing more like if it's a 2-goal lead. Sometimes with a 3-goal lead, you're going to start seeing the coaches now being more aggressive with that, playing with like 5 or 6 minutes left to try and maybe get back into the game and then try it again. We started seeing that trend with Patrick Waugh when he was coaching the Avs. When he, that was in 2015. I like to say around that time. So he kind of started that trend, and it's kind of carried on.
Yeah, because with a 2-goal deficit, you got to be more aggressive. It's kind of like, you can almost compare to maybe going for the 2-point conversion first, right? Because you want to know how to play after that. Like you want to know, how are you going to play the last 5 minutes, as opposed to missing the 2-point conversion and having like 10 seconds left, right?
Yep.
So from that standpoint, it makes sense. But with a 1-goal deficit, unless you have an offensive zone faceoff after an icing with like 2:10 to go, or like a power play, and you can have a chance for a 6-on-4, then yeah, it makes sense. But if it's assuming all things equal, 5-on-5, then yeah, there's a fact check from Sheldon on YouTube here. Who started it in 2013, 2014.
Okay.
So there you go.
Perfect.
And
Oh,
well,
sorry.
we're getting a replay. We're getting a replay.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what just happened here? Didn't realize we're back from commercial.
Yeah, exactly. So about 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go here in the period. 4:07 to be exact. We'll have the face-off at center ice. So Jake Allen is back in position, or back in his net. So the Habs will likely pull him the next opportunity that they get. Byron drops it off to Evans. And the other thing with pulling the goalie early, you have to have the personnel on the ice to be able to play 6-on-5, because the last thing you want is to be 6-on-5 and have your third or fourth line out there.
Well, my Budweiser red light just went off.
Score! Yeah, there you go. Paul Byron. That's what that was. I was like, what the heck was that? But Paul Byron narrows the deficit to 4-3.
There we go.
The only issue with Budweiser lamps is that they're like getting the update before the goal happens. So
yeah,
hey,
it happens sometimes when it's perfect.
4-3 game.
That was awesome. Good old Paulie. He's one
guy.
guy. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go. No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say he's just one guy I absolutely love on this team. You know, he demonstrates leadership time and time again. His speed is generally unmatched, and you know, we love having a guy like that on this team.
The only issue is his health.
Yes, health is a big question.
Consistent in the goal scoring department, but as a two-way, speedy, tough to play against forward, even undersized at 5'8", barely 170 pounds, he has been an amazing player in the Habs bottom six during his time here, and like you said, just a leader as well. So it is now a 1-goal game. The Panthers nearly got one right back there, but 3 minutes to go here. And that's why, again, you pull your goalie early to give yourself that opportunity to come back in the game, or more time to come back in the game. Spencer Knight doesn't have his stick. Panthers flip it out to center. Settled down here by Jake Edmondson. Again, 3 minutes to go here. It's 4-3. The Panthers have 40 shots on goal, by the way. But it is now a 4-3 game, and the puck, perhaps, is this a delay of game coming up?
I think it might be.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be another delay game penalty for Florida. This one, the more conventional type, as it goes directly out and not off of Ben Sherratt's stick, off the glass, out of play, and off Sam Reinhart's stick and into play.
Should we just call this penalty the Mitch Marner special?
Yeah, I guess you could call it the Mitch Marner special. Yeah, I guess that's fair. So it is Carter Verhaeghe who is guilty of the puck over glass, and the Canadians will get a power play. And perhaps here, do you pull Jake Allen to make it a 6-on-4 right away?
Absolutely. And also, when do you use your timeout?
I don't know if they didn't use it here. I would use it maybe on the next whistle. So Dvorak wins the faceoff. Here's Weidman. Weidman drops it to Caulfield. Caulfield had to step up to get to that one, though, but he gets it. Caulfield loses it, and it is cleared the length of the ice, where Jake Allen is still there, which I'm okay with because there's still quite a bit of time here. So I'm okay with keeping Jake Allen and operating at 5-on-4, and maybe you go to 6-on-4 once you're under 2 minutes here. But now with speed, here comes Suzuki. Suzuki gets a little bit obstructed on the way to the net by Ben Sherratt, but Sherratt does not do enough to take a penalty, and he clears it back down to Jake Allen, who will leave it for Chris Weidman. And I remember last year the Habs were actually really good on 6-on-5, despite how inconsistent they were on the power play.
They were. They had a few games where they came back and tied it and forced overtime.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we know how we were with overtime last year.
Oh, yeah. And here's Byron with a shot, just gets deflected by Radko Gudas, but Byron was in a perfect position for his second of the game and a game-tying goal. But Radko Gudas, it was in better position to deflect that one out of play.
Check out the beard on that guy.
Oh my God. Yeah,
glowing.
imagine what his playoff beard will look like.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of Shea Weber a little bit from last year in the playoffs.
Oh no, his is longer than Shea Weber. Way longer than Shea Weber's. Weber had a nice beard. Don't get me wrong, but Radko Gudas, that's like beyond lumberjack.
There's been a fair share of good beards in the AHL over the years.
Absolutely. So, by the way, to answer your question from before, Justin, Habs are taking their timeout now. It seems.
There you go. There you go. It seems like the right time to do it. Just with the amount of time they have left, it's perfect because they can set up for the extra attacker. Because penalty is going to be expiring within the final minute, so this is perfect.
Although I just happened to notice that Suzuki was still kind of on the bench.
Oh,
There's 2:20 to go, and he's still on the bench there, as is Dvorak. They have Armia, Pitlik, Byron, and Weidman out there. So I don't know if they might wait maybe a little longer to go to the first wave.
Oh.
Unless
Looks
they
like
make
they
the
are.
change here. We'll see. And we're over 3,000 likes on this cast here, by the way.
That's awesome.
So thank you to our wonderful audience for again also being patient with the technical issues we had earlier in the cast, but they were well worth it because this has been a blast, Justin, I must say.
Yes, it is. Thanks again. It's this is my first time doing this, so this is fun.
Absolutely. So Dvorak in front of Giroux. Giroux wins the faceoff, but right on it is Caulfield to shovel it to Weidman at the point. Caulfield gets it right back. Caulfield on the left wing. Caulfield tries to hold on to it, gets it to Weidman. Weidman across to Hoffman. And in front, Suzuki could not quite deflect that one in. And the Panthers are able to clear it all the way down, but just wide of the open net. Weidman there to handle it and start things up the other way. Weidman with a clapper into the zone. And Weegar deflects it off the glass and not quite out, kept in. Here's Hoffman. Quick shot. Gets blocked off of, I think, Sherratt's face or almost his face, it looked like. But Sherratt deflects it out of play either way for a face-off in the zone as we welcome in also Wolmer 0-0 to the cast. Wolmer was on the Bruins cast with me the other day, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, welcome in Wolmer. Potentially, he's doing some scouting. He's a Bruins fan, by the way, and he's potentially doing some scouting on the Panthers here. So Habs win the ensuing faceoff right away. There's Weidman. Down low to Hoffman. Or I think that's Pitlik, rather. There's Weidman to the point to Hoffman. That's Hoffman to Weidman. Weidman in front to Dvorak. To Weidman. 6 seconds to go on the power play. Here's Caulfield. Net's still empty for the Canadians. Caulfield down low to the left to Suzuki. To Dvorak. He can't quite get a clean shot off. It deflects out of play for another whistle inside the Florida zone. And so like Wolmer's saying, he's doing some little bit of scouting here on the Panthers.
Yeah, the Panthers are. As they come playoff time, they're going to be a fun team to watch.
But you know what? The Canadians are also they're making all these games close.
They are. And that's been the quality of the product they've been putting out there. It's been fantastic.
Exactly. Habs are able to establish possession off of the draw, but finally Florida clears it out to center, and a shot at the open net there by Sam Reinhart just misses. 35 seconds to go. Perhaps another rush or two for the Canadians. Here's Hoffman with a stretch pass to Dvorak, but he can't quite handle it. Gets cleared back out to center by Florida. To Huberdeau, to Reinhart. Reinhart can't quite get a shot at the open net, though. Good back check there by Caulfield. And Florida doubles it right back to the Habs zone. 14 seconds to go. Now one last chance for the Canadians. And we have a whistle as Pitlik. It is too many men for the Canadians. So not an ideal way to end, as it looked like they had 7 guys on the ice at one point. Walmer saying Pasta with a hat trick tonight, if anyone cares. Yeah, I mean, good. Just David Pasternak that's cool if he did that without Bergeron, because Bergeron's been dealing with that arm issue or arm infection issue. But just David Pastrnak really stepping up in Bergeron's absence. And I'm honestly, look, Walmer, I'll be honest, I don't hate the Bruins like I used to. I don't know about you, Justin. I hate the Leafs more than I hate the Bruins. And I actually would not, if the Bruins played Tampa, I would cheer possibly for Boston.
Yeah, same
Tampa.
here. I think the reason why I actually don't mind Boston as much is because of Bergeron. He's a
and
guy.
No more Chara, no more Ference, no more Lucic, no more, and Marchand is even not as hateable as a player as he used to be.
I don't mind Marchand at all. I think he's fantastic. He has his little antics, but other than that, I think he's a fantastic hockey player.
I mean, he hasn't really done much since licking who was it in the playoffs a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Ryan Callahan, and there was Leo Komarov.
And that's all we have here for tonight as the Panthers hang on and win this one 4-3. But again, the Canadians, for pretty much as has been every single game for the Canadians since being taken over by Martin St. Louis, they've just made this a close, exciting game. They just made it exciting and watchable, which is why it's been so fun to do these games over the last couple of weeks. I'm trying to think the last game that the Habs made, that the Habs were involved in, that was just they had no chance in.
Yeah, that's it. Like they've overall, you can't really back in the Dominic Ducharme games maybe, but no, they've made all their contests relatively close for the most part. I mean, like I was mentioning earlier, I'm not cheering for them to lose, but if they're losing, I know they're putting in a good effort, and
this is the way you want them to lose.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want them to lose by getting blown out like the way they were before. But if they're going to lose games, at least make it close or make it, to the very end. They're not going to go down without a fight, and that's something I think that a lot of fans right now, yes, it sucks to lose, but at the same time too, appreciate the good quality they're putting out there right now.
Well, Justin, this was a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to do this again for the remaining games this season. You've been a wonderful co-host, and again, thank you for figuring out all the technical aspects. And once you did, this was great. And thank you to our wonderful audience. Over 3,600 likes on ColorCast. We have a couple of people here on YouTube as well tuned in. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Once again, he's Justin O'Leary, J. O'Leary 31. I'm Mike Langer. Habs lose 4-3 to the Panthers, but thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to you joining in next time.